Pirates awakened Conqueror at the beginning chapter 41 to 60. Chapter 41 _ full level Conqueror Hockey, dry flip Sengoku the Buddha. Withdraw. With Whitebeard's order, although the hearts of many pirates are unwilling, they will not go against Whitebeard's wishes. For a time, many pirates who were in a fierce battle seemed to have heard the king's order and quickly retreated. The prestige that was forbidden was more decisive than Marine's, and they did not mix their emotions at all. Seeing that Whitebeard's prestige among pirates is so prosperous, tens of millions of battlefields, many pirates pulled out one after another, turned around and ran towards the bay outside Marineford, evacuating Marineford at the fastest speed. Because this was Whitebeard's order, they had to do it in the shortest time possible. Because of this, many Marines who were fighting against the pirates were all stunned, because all the opponents in front of them disappeared and quickly evacuated. The second in command of the Revolutionary Army, Sabo, who had just obtained the magma fruit, gave a deep look at the White Sea, and immediately ordered to bring more than a dozen Revolutionary Army cadres who came, also withdrew. No matter the pirates, the Revolutionary Army, or the many impelled down prisoners in the field, they all ran away from the Marine headquarters at a very fast speed and participated in today's top battle. They can boast at least a year, or even longer. Joke. As for why this is so, the reason is very simple: they have experienced a scene today that they will be unforgettable in their entire lives. Marine, Shichibukai under the king, Whitebeard of the Four Emperors, the other three elite cadres of the Four Emperors, and even the second in command of the Revolutionary Army came to the top of the chess game. Although such a monstrous battle, although I don't know if it will be the last, it is definitely unprecedented. And these are not the most important. Most importantly, Marine's headquarters, Admiral Akainu, was killed by the 14th cadre of the Red Hair Pirates. If this incident spreads out, Marine's Majesty will definitely be wiped out. I am afraid that the word Marine will become a joke around the world for a long time to come. Marineford, at his doorstep, was killed by pirates. What kind of insult is this? If these pirates escape him again, they will be embarrassed by Marine. Everyone, give it to me. Be sure not to let Whitesea and Whitebeard leave Marineford. Whatever it takes. Sengoku the Buddha's eyes widened, and he immediately activated a golden Buddha statue that had regained its combat power. With one jump, he took the lead in killing Whitebeard. The matter had evolved to this point: he would never allow those two. The guy left Marineford, even if he slayed his life. Kazaru Kuzan frowned slightly, looking at Baizi, who was on the opposite side of the bay, and his eyes were cold. If these pirates escaped here, they would also become a ridiculous joke as Marine Admiral. Kill. Seeing Sengoku and the two Admiral take action, the remaining more than 100,000 Marine elites screamed and slaughtered towards Marine. As for Doflamingo and the Hawkeye King Shichibukai, they looked at the field calmly. It looks like watching a play, and has no intention of shooting at all. After all, they have a mutually beneficial relationship with Marine, and they know very well that although Marine gave them the title of Shichibukai, they actually hate them more than ordinary pirates. As long as they get the chance, they will be destroyed immediately. It can be said that the relationship between these kings Shichibukai and Marine is both a friend and an enemy at the same time. Since then, they will naturally not be stupid enough to help the enemy deal with the enemy. Wouldn't it be better to watch from the wall, Snipe and Clam competing for the fisherman's profit? However, among the many Shichibukai under the king, only the female Emperor Boa Hancock looked strangely, and looked at Baizi, who was in charge of the husband, with some worry. Not because Baizi's hockey captured her, but because she learned from the Fishman Revolutionary Army Koala, who also had Tenryubito slaves before. This man named Baizi has a kind of Tenryubito brand on them. Removed potion. And this is the most tempting thing for the female Emperor Boa Hancock, which has always been her heart disease. Not just for her, but also for her two younger sisters, Sonia and Mary, who also bear the same slave mark as herself. King Shichibukai was pregnant with ghosts. Sengoku, who was leading the Golden Light Buddha, already had a huge golden palm, descending from the sky towards Baizi, and slapped it on the head. The golden giant fist that contains Conqueror Haki is even blessed by armament, and the pressure is so great. It can be said that this is the strongest state of Sengoku. Even Marine Admiral did not dare to take on its edge easily in the face of this move. And at this moment, Sengoku the Buddha no longer keeps his hand, and he doesn't dare to keep his hand any longer. Conqueror Haki, I have it too. Baizi murmured, looking at the giant palm that covered the sky falling from the sky. The corners of his mouth curled up, the full-level Conqueror Haki burst out, and the soles of his feet slammed straight towards Sengoku the Buddha, who came in the lead. Marine Rokushiki Ultimate Profound Truth, 6 King's Spears. The completely disproportionate golden palm and Baizi, who pushed Conqueror Haki to the extreme, slammed together fiercely. The next moment, the dark red Conqueror Haki burst open, and the endless destructive power raged on the spot, and some nearby marines and pirates were directly blown away. It is roughly estimated that there are thousands of people. After one blow, the golden body of the Dingtian Buddha turned into a golden cannonball in the sight of more than 100,000 horrified eyes, and shot towards the city wall of Marineford. With a loud bang, Sengoku the Buddha was directly under the hard steel of Baizi and flew out. Was Kizaru and Kuzan, who rushed forward and stopped the offensive abruptly, with very rich expressions, staring at Baizi, the young and outrageous boy, who was in charge of a husband, in disbelief. Pa, Conqueror Haki, quote. The two murmured and stared at Baizi with complicated expressions. This guy actually had Conqueror Haki and took Sengoku's attack directly. Kizaru Kuzan was dumbfounded, Garp Crane and others were blinded, Shichibukai was blinded, Whitebeard Ace Luffy, etc., even Fujitora and Ryokugyu. All were stunned by Conqueror Haki's matchup on the field. Conqueror Haki, whose destructive power is breaking the sky, Kurostar and a group of people who know Baizi's Conqueror Haki are also dumbfounded. How could it be? The captain's Conqueror Haki is so tyrannical that it can be said to be close to their boss Shanks just by virtue of this kind of coercion. Especially those marines and pirates who were overturned, got up from the ground in a daze, looking at Baizi, who was still alone in the field, with their eyelids jumping wildly. This is Conqueror Haki. How could it be that Conqueror Haki is like the real Sengoku-sama, and he's the top existence? This guy, Conqueror Haki. In addition to the red-haired Shanks, the red-haired pirates have another person who has awakened the existence of Conqueror Haki, and the level of use is already so high. Ace's eyes flashed. This man is too strong, and his Conqueror Haki is too weak compared to him. Luffy's eyes flashed and he was full of enthusiasm. As for Sabo, who got magma fruit, his expression changed when he looked at the disfigured field that was destroyed. Conqueror Haki, Mr. Baizi really has it. What a terrifying combat power. Even Sengoku was punched away. Quote. Chapter 42 _ The legend turned out to be true. Conqueror Haki. Coercive quadruple. Baizi this one-handedly knocked Sengoku out. Seeing this, more than 100,000 marine elites were stunned for a moment. After recovering, they attacked and killed again. Various devil fruit abilities emerge in an endless stream, to say nothing of thousands of marine devil fruit abilities, instantly engulfed Baizi like locusts. That is at this moment. The corner of Baizi's mouth curved into an arc, and the previous right fist turned into a palm, and pushed it forward sharply. The next moment, like the previous scene of dealing with Teach, it was very similar to the thousands of marine fruit ability users on the opposite side. Bang 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 tilde. Bang 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 tilde. 10. 50. 100. Marine devil fruit users who rushed forward suddenly seemed to be bombarded by an invisible high barrier, and the next moment was extremely similar to the previous scene of Teach attacking Whitebeard. It's just that there were more than 10 people in Teach before, but now there are more than thousands of people in the field. Shocking fruit. This word popped into everyone's mind for the first time. Apart from the ability of Whitebeard's shake fruit, they really couldn't think of anyone else with this ability, shake fruit empty shake. Can't go wrong. Sure enough Whitebeard was the first to react, staring deeply at Baizi, the young man who had been very kind to their pirates several times. Is really more than one of the same type of devil fruit. Decades ago, One Piece king of pirates Roger told himself that he didn't believe it at that time, and boasted that if this was true, he was really looking forward to another one. Who would be the owner of a shaking fruit? And today, this person actually appeared. Junjangwo, this is. Dad is wrong, is it Baizi? How could it be possible that Dad's air shock ability was used by Baizi? Hey, shit, I'm not dreaming, it turns out. The legend turns out to be true. Baizi has the same shaking fruit as his father. I'm a jerk, it's a big deal, and it's a big deal now tilde. With such power, it is definitely on par with my father, such a terrible shock ability tilde. The pirates around Whitebeard stared dumbfoundedly at the arena, and Baizi's words just now came to their minds, and now they all understood. No wonder Baizi asked them all to evacuate. It turns out that this guy has the same shocking fruit as his father, which is incredible. Was Teach, who tried his best to approach Whitebeard. At this moment, Teach's eyes were round and round, and he couldn't believe what he saw in front of him. Shake the fruit. Actually, besides Whitebeard, there is another shock fruit, that kid, damn it. Why is that person not himself? Asshole. Blackbeard felt that his previous efforts were a joke. The strongest man in the world, the owner of the Junjun fruit, now. It turned out to be not one, but two. Damn, this guy, why is he so strong? About Marine Rokushiki's ultimate meaning, Six Kings Spear, and this is also the most important reason why Blackbeard found out that Baizi had the shaking fruit, but didn't do it for a long time. And, on top of that, this guy has a top-notch Conqueror haki on him. After thinking about it in his heart, he found that he had no confidence in winning this person. As for the other side. On the Marineford city wall, Sengoku the Buddha, who had just struggled out, watched thousands of devil fruit people flying upside down in the air, and a pair of eyes shone with a chilling gleam, and the most abundant ones were rich to the extreme. Incredible. This is an air shock. The empty shock of the shocking fruit, how possible? The guy who used the ultimate mystery of Marine Rokushiki, actually, has the same shocking fruit as Whitebeard. Sengoku, with his eyes wide open in astonishment, stared at Baizi, who had a relaxed face, and quietly, he saw the shadow of Whitebeard from the young man's body. On a horse. How could it become like this? The rumor turned out to be true, there is more than one devil fruit. But Whitebeard alone is enough to give them a headache. Now, there is another person with the same devil fruit ability as the owner of Whitebeard, and what is even more terrifying is that this guy also holds the ultimate mystery of their Marine Rokushiki. These two, coupled with the top Conqueror haki shown before, this person already has the qualifications to compete with the four emperors. Baga, damn it, is there a fifth emperor in the New World? How could this be? Kazaru Kuzan was also shocked at this moment. The top Conqueror haki owner also mastered their Marine Rokushiki ultimate meaning, Six Kings Spear, and more importantly, this guy also has the same shocking fruit as Whitebeard. Baizi's empty-handed shock in front of him already explained everything. Koala, who was gathered with Sabo, blinked, staring blankly at the young man who had rescued him at sea before, while Koala covered her mouth with both hands and stared at Baizi in shock. Conqueror haki, Marine's ultimate mystery, and the same shocking fruit as Whitebeard. He is so amazing tilde. No wonder that guy chopped off an arm of Marine Admiral's replacement Chaton Tokikake with one knife, and the guy at the time had already kept his hands far away, otherwise. Now I am afraid that it is the Chaton Tokikake who is chasing him, and I am afraid that it has become the feces of the only son of the Sea King. Wu tilde. With the same ability as Whitebeard, I am afraid that it is really a shock fruit. It's hard to imagine that there are really more than one devil fruit. No wonder Mr. Baizi gave me magma fruit so generously. Sabo looked at the field, and then his eyes fell on Koala who was beside him. Koala, you have found us an extremely evil ally this time, Tilda. Cough, this is it. Koala heard. Dry cough issue. She didn't know this guy was so powerful before, and now, with one hand, he has directly shocked more than 100,000 marine elites. It is really Whitebeard's shock fruit, the impact on them is too great. Fujitora Isho observation haki unfolded, just like Ryokugyu, staring at the field, his heart was filled with endless astonishment and surprise, the captain's strength. So terrifying. Many pirates such as Kurostar and the red-haired pirates were all dumbfounded, almost biting off their tongues. Powerful. So strong. Too strong. It's only been so long, this guy's growth is already approaching their Captain Shanks like a rocket, it's too dick. Chapter 43 An accident happened. Invincible. This is everyone's evaluation of Baizi at the moment. Perhaps after this battle, it is very likely that this person in front of him has been tacitly regarded as the existence of the fifth emperor of the New World. Above the walls of Marineford. Female Emperor, Boa Hancock, with beautiful eyes flashing with ripples, the man who is in front of him is undeniably too strong. Moreover, he was too daring. Before, in front of Marine, he defeated Garp with Marine Rokushiki's ultimate meaning, Six Kings Spear. After that, he decisively killed Akainu and gave the Devil Fruit to Sabo, the second in command of the Revolutionary Army. Conqueror Haki and Air Shock forced back Marine Fleet Admiral Sengoku and thousands of Marine Devil Fruit elite members. As long as this guy doesn't fall, his future achievements are limitless, and it is not impossible for him to become another One Piece King of Pirates after Roger. However, after this battle, under what conditions would she exchange the recovery potion from Koala's mouth? It is very likely that this is the only chance for her and her two sisters to remove the slave brand. Recovery potion, be sure to get it. Empress Boa Hancock's beautiful eyes narrowed, she held up her slender hands, and made up her mind to make a secret decision. Gu la 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 tilde. Good friend Baizi, well done. Seeing this, Whitebeard laughed heartily again, looked at Sengoku's livid face, and waved his hand. Everyone, listen to my orders, withdraw. Gu. With the hearty and thunderous laughter, it pierced the air and rushed to the sky, lingering over the entire Marineford. The laughter here, like a sharp knife, stabbed the Marine Fleet Admiral Sengoku and more than 100,000 Marine elites. Above the heart. Yes, Dad. Let's go tilde. Whitebeard's voice made many blood boil, and the adrenaline-rushing pirates howled and responded with their throats raised. Suddenly, countless terrifying cheers erupted. Hearing the countless laughter, Sengoku and the more than 100,000 Marine elites blushed and their lungs were about to explode, but none of them dared to go mad at Baizi, who was in charge of the opposite. Joke. I didn't see that this guy's Marine Rokushiki's ultimate meaning, Six Kings Spear even flew off Master Sengoku. If they go up, I'm afraid even that guy's top Conqueror Haki can't resist, and it's not enough to deliver food completely. The power of one person has shocked the more than 100,000 Marine elites in Marineford, including Marine Fleet Admiral Sengoku. This move is absolutely outrageous and outrageous. If there is one person in Marine who is relieved, this person is none other than Esabo's godfather, Luffy's grandfather, Monkey D. Garp. At this point, it really came to an end. As long as Sengoku isn't stupid, he won't let the Marines pursue him, at least not when Baizi is present, because the ability to shake the fruit is too unbelievable. Originally, Whitebeard was seriously injured, but now Baizi has nothing to do. If this battle continues, the remaining elites in their marine will definitely suffer a catastrophic blow. Damn it, asshole. Sengoku's face was gloomy and horrifying. If eyes can kill, Baizi at this moment has no idea how many times he has been killed by Sengoku's cold and ruthless eyes. This sudden appearance of Baizi is simply their Marine's nemesis. As early as before, their Marine headquarters paid attention to the successful Marine Admiral candidates Fujitora Isho and Ryokugyu, who had been recruited for a long time. They were recruited by him by mutiny on an island, and then Impel Down was overturned. The Warden Magellan was killed by Baizi, and more than 10,000 people were killed. The prisoners, including Jinbei Crocodile and others, were all released, and then their Marine Admiral candidate Chaton Tokikake was completely wiped out by this guy, and today, this guy turned the situation where they were in an absolutely dominant battle by himself. He killed all 3 of their Marines and Admiral on the spot. Not only that, but he and Garp both suffered from this guy, and just now, more than thousands of Devil Fruit elites were defeated. Is this guy really just the 14th cadre of the Red Hair Pirates? Why? Since taking over as Marine Fleet Admiral, Sengoku felt so powerless. Marineford, hundreds of kilometers of sea. The fierce battles that destroyed the sky and the earth broke out one after another, and the top fighting power of the 4 emperors broke out with a bang. Of course, neither Kaido of the Beasts nor Charlotte Linlin will fight to the death, but will do their best to contain the redhead, making him unable to participate in the Battle of the Top. As for why the 2 shot at the same time, firstly, they thought it was enough to have their confidence in the Battle of the Top, and secondly, neither Kaido of the Beasts nor Charlotte Linlin was 100% sure to completely contain the red hair. After all, as long as Marineford was their Whitebeard dies, everything is their victory, and when the redhead is just fish on their chopping board, they can kill him anytime. Another reason is that the red-haired deputy captain Ben Beckman, although he is a deputy captain, although his combat power is weaker than the red-haired, but not too weak, this person is also a variable. The 2 people who have considered it comprehensively have reached an agreement, and this is the situation today. Ha ha ha, Redhead, wait for the good news from Katakuri and the others, your powerful subordinates and that Whitebeard are dead. Charlotte Linlin laughed up to the sky, looking at the redhead who was desperately trying to break through, indescribably happy. I didn't expect the deputy captain of the Red Hair Pirates to be comparable to the 4 emperors. I really underestimate you. Kaido of the Beasts looked at Ben Beckman opposite. Although he did his best to pay some price can kill Ben Beckman, but his combat power will definitely be greatly reduced after that. And if he kills Ben Beckman, the redhead will definitely go crazy, plus he and Charlotte Linlin are only cooperating on the surface. If she gives herself a knife at a critical moment, it will be bad. Although Kaido of the Beasts is big and has a bad temper, it doesn't mean he's a fool. Charlotte Linlin also knew what Kaido of the Beasts was thinking and didn't say much. After all, the 2 sides were not fighting to the death. In this room, Katakuri and Fire Calamity quickly approached from the direction of Marineford, and the 2 sides who were originally fighting also stopped. It's just that Ben Beckman was very embarrassed at this time, his face was pale, and it was obviously very difficult for him to stop Kaido of the Beasts with his strength. How about the battle at the top? Then Whitebeard and Baizi are dead. Kaido of the Beasts asked Yanjahan with a slightly condensed gaze. This. Blazing Ember and Plague Queen looked at each other. Vivi sighed, failed. Huh. As soon as Yan Beast said this, Kaido of the Beasts, Charlotte Linlin, and even the red-haired Ben Beckman all cast a surprised look. Katakuri, what's going on? Charlotte Linlin's eyes gleamed coldly. Although Whitebeard was strong, he had always been ill and could not fight for a long time. After a fight like Marine's headquarters, the 4 of Katakuri did not kill him. Mama, calm down, this matter has changed. Seeing that Charlotte Linlin was about to get angry, Cracker took the lead and said, we all greatly underestimated the strength of the red-haired 14th cadre Shirasawa and his subordinates. Shirasawa's subordinates, Fujitora Isho, Ryokugyu, and the star-named Kuro were able to Marine 3 Admiral contended, and the Revolutionary Army actually dispatched half of the cadres, led by Sabo, and rushed over, and... Speaking of this, Cracker couldn't help but see the image of Akainu being killed by Baizi in his mind. He couldn't help but feel cold at the backup level. That guy is definitely a lunatic. And what? Charlotte Linlin saw Cracker's horrified eyes. Her eyes narrowed slightly, making his Desert 3 generals look like this. she was curious about what happened on the top. The deputy captain Ryokugyu of Shirazawa seriously injured Akainu. Under the watchful eyes of all marine pirates and Shichibukai, Shichibukai killed Akainu and gave Akainu's magma fruit to Sabo, the second in command of the Revolutionary Army. At that time, Sabo's combat power was comparable to admiral level. Katakuri breathed a sigh of relief and said what Cracker didn't finish. Kaido of the Beasts listened to Katakuri's words, and his eyes fell on Yanjajin, only to see Jin nodding silently, and the queen beside him also nodded with fear. On the other side, the red-haired and the others who heard the news were stunned for a moment, and then they were overjoyed. Chapter 44_Awakening Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit, Whitebeard critically ill. Four Emperors confrontation, above the sea. Seeing Jin's nodding, Kaido of the Beasts' eyes flashed, and he asked the most concerned question, how about Whitebeard? Whitebeard's old injury recurred, and he was attacked by Akainu. He was severely injured in the penetration of Hunko. As expected, he should be dead soon. Jin thought of Whitebeard's injury and the penetration of Hunko. It is very likely that he will fall out of the ranks of the four emperors next. Oh, it seems that Whitebeard is the one who held off a lot of pressure. What a nasty boy. Kaido of the Beasts heard Whitebeard's mouth piercing through, and he couldn't help but feel a little more balanced, which was considered a gain. I really didn't expect that this time even the Revolutionary Army has taken action, and half of the cadres have also been dispatched. That by Z doesn't seem easy. Kaido of the Beasts certainly knew the redhead's temperament, and he would definitely not contact the Revolutionary Army. Except for the red hair, I am afraid that it was Bai Z who contacted him unilaterally. It's just that he couldn't think of the conditions under which the kid could persuade the leader of the Revolutionary Army, Long, to dispatch half of the cadres. Not only he couldn't understand it, but even the red-haired Shanks and others couldn't understand why Bai Z let the Revolutionary Army dispatch half of the cadres, knowing that half of the cadres were no less than the most senior members of any of their pirate regiments. Strong combat power. Such a move is definitely a big deal. And Bai Z gave the magma fruit that killed Akainu to Sabo, the second in command of the Revolutionary Army. If you say that there is no relationship between the two parties, a fool would not believe it. It was also at this moment that the red hair felt that the distance between Bai Z and their red hair pirates was getting farther and farther. Perhaps the day when Bai Z and the others left the pirates was not far away. The many cadres and members of the ship behind the red hair were dumbfounded, and their horrified complaints rose up. I'm not dreaming, am I? Bai Z he actually killed the red dog Akainu, one of the three marine admirals. Could he be the undercover agent of the Revolutionary Army who broke into our pirate group? But he doesn't look like it at all. It's amazing, it's amazing. I didn't expect that Ryokugyu's subordinate from Bai Z would be able to defeat Admiral Akainu. Tisk tisk, how long has it been? Bai Z has grown to a point that we can't reach ... Proud, emotional. All kinds of emotions, etc., stirred up in the hearts of many cadres and members of the pirate group for a while. The corners of the red-haired mouth also twitched, and the invisible Conqueror Haki, who is well controlled by him, rose vigorously, heading straight for Kaido of the Beasts and Charlotte Linlin. Haki sighed, hee, how are you two, do you want to fight again? The provocation in his words is full of provocation. What about the four emperors? He is not afraid of red hair. Kaido of the Beasts and Charlotte Linlin obviously didn't pay attention to the redhead's provocation. Kaido of the Beasts snorted coldly. Let's go. The purpose of delay was achieved. Kaido of the Beasts issued an order, and the cooperative relationship with Charlotte Linlin ended, and the state of their own affairs was restored again. After a while, Kaido of the Beasts disappeared in the sea. Redhead, the 14th cadre who sued you, since he has the guts to kill my Charlotte Linlin's daughter, one day, I will take his head. After a ruthless remark, Charlotte Linlin returned to her own territory with her subordinates Katakuri and Cracker. As for the remaining red-haired pirates, they fell into an unprecedented boil. Whitebeard and his party leaving Marineford. Peef tilde cough tilde cough tilde. As Yan Calamity had expected, the old injury recurred, coupled with the high-intensity battle, and Akainu penetrated the Hungarian mouth. It can be said that Whitebeard's body was already riddled with holes, and the terrifying holes in the Hungarian mouth made people shudder. Marco Ace and other captains looked even more sad. Because they clearly felt that Whitebeard's vitality was fading fast, and they were afraid that their father would not be able to support it for long. Ding! The host Marineford showed great power, fought Garp Sengoku, and awakened Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit. Note: the devil fruit provided by this system is immune to water and sea stone. Quote. Ace and his party were worried about Whitebeard. The sound of the system sounded again in Bai Zi's mind. Bring up the properties panel. Name: Bai Z. Age: 19. Abilities: /LV10, Conqueror Hockey LV10, Armament Hockey LV9, Observation Hockey LV8, Marine Rokushiki LV10. Devil Fruit, Shock Fruit LV9, Gravity Fruit LV8, Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit LV1. Items: Restoration Potion X18, Demon Pact X5. In this battle of the top, Bai Z is undoubtedly the biggest winner. The levels of various abilities are swish, except that the Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit, he just got is level 1, and all other abilities are the lowest. Is level 8. Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit. This is Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit by Enel. Unexpectedly, the third awakened fruit turned out to be the strongest Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit, in Logia. Although Enel was defeated by Luffy on Sky Island, Enel's development of Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit, was obviously superficial, and he encountered a rubber fruit capable of being immune to lightning, and was defeated by luck by Luffy. Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit, is the strongest fruit in Logia. Its abilities are completely different from those shown by Enel, and Enel did not master Armament and Observation Hockey. If he had mastered two abilities at that time, I am afraid that Luffy only had suspended. Although Bai Z's Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit, is only level 1, but under the combined effect of Conqueror Hockey, Armament Hockey, and the Shaking Fruit and the Gravity Fruit, its power has soared exponentially. For example, when Bai Z is in the state of using Marina Rokushiki's ultimate mystery, Six Kings Spear with the power of thunder and lightning of Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit, the picture. Absolutely beautiful. Mention Luffy. Even Luffy, who drove 1234 gears, was under Bai Z's hands, and he was also abused. It can be said that with the appearance of Bai Z, Luffy's protagonist Halo was suppressed in darkness, just like this war on the top. The original protagonist should be Luffy, but now it has become Bai Z abruptly. If it weren't for Bai Z's shot this time, not only Whitebeard, but also Ace would be killed. PFF. Just when Bai Z was about to investigate the Devil's contract, the students of 2 came to his ears, followed by exclamations of panic. Dad. It's okay, Dad. Hold on, the ship doctor will come and see Dad. Whitebeard's injury was in his eyes again, and the blood that Hunko had stopped flowing out again. The scene was very bloody, and the gathering on the deck had already become a stream. Forget about it. Bai Z, who had finally changed the outcome of the Battle of the Top, couldn't let Whitebeard die so easily. He couldn't help but think of the magical recovery potion. If it was used on Whitebeard at this time, it was estimated that the injury could be healed to the greatest extent. When he thought of it, he did it, and Bai Z walked in the direction of the bleeding Whitebeard. Chapter 45_Ace Vows, Pirate Queen Hancock arrives. Moby Dick. There was chaos on the deck at this moment, and Ace's eyes were full of tears, full of regrets. This matter all started because of him, but now he can't do anything. The deep sense of powerlessness made him wish that the wound fell on him. Hurry up and bring Whitebeard into the house, I may have a side that can be useful. As soon as Bai Z said this, Marco Ace and the others lit up, especially Ace, who had going under the man's knees and knelt down in front of Baizi. Mr. Baizi, if you can save Dad, I will see as willing to be a bull and a horse for Mr. If you violate this statement, people and gods will be outraged. Quote. He's not dead yet, and he doesn't have any expressions. I can't guarantee anything if you delay your father. Shenyi glanced at Ace and said to Marco Jozu and others. Hearing Baizi's remarks, Marco's many captains dared to delay, and carried Whitebeard into the room at the fastest speed, and then everyone except Whitebeard was blasted out of the room by Baizi. If they hadn't trusted Baizi, they would be really worried that this guy would poison their father at this time. On the deck, Ryokugyu and Kuro Star look at each other. After realizing something, the two of them couldn't help but imagine the scene of Kuro Star and the Revolutionary Army cadre Koala taking the special medicine. Looking at the room on the Moby Dick again, the eyes of the two were full of anticipation. To know. During this time, the person Baizi healed was the strongest man in the world, one of the 4 emperors of the New World. In this world, there are countless people who want Whitebeard to die. Marco, Ace and the others looked at the direction of the room with worried expressions. Although Baizi said that it could be cured, they had no idea in their hearts. In the room. Looking at Whitebeard, who was breathing in more and breathing less, Baizi flipped over a bottle of medicine in his right hand, and immediately gave it to Whitebeard. Then, a strange scene appeared. The original vitality of Whitebeard had dissipated, and a heart pounded vigorously again, and his pale face also flushed the most. Even the viscera of Hung's mouth burned by a kainu was wriggling and regenerated at this moment. Whitebeard's mouth finally recovered completely, and his pale complexion was now flushed. The original Whitebeard's old wounds were completely removed by this recovery potion. Whitebeard looks more than 10 years younger than before. The rhythm has changed for a long time. Sometime. Whitebeard's closed eyes moved, his eyes opened quietly, he sat up and looked at his mouth subconsciously, because he found that the pain from his mouth had disappeared. And that's not all, many of his faults have been well suppressed, and even now he feels that he is back when he was young. This, my body. Whitebeard's eyes swept across the room, and finally fell on Baizi, who was the only one. Little friend Baizi, this is me, you saved me. Whitebeard couldn't believe what he was seeing. I'm totally fine. Marco, Ace and the others are all in a hurry, let's go out. The corners of Baizi's mouth curled up, and sure enough, the recovery potion did not disappoint him, such an ability is too enchanting. A little. The quiet room, at a certain moment, the door opened with a squeak. It is really hard to imagine what the future of this pirate group will be if they die. If the 4 emperors attack one day, they will be very difficult to withstand. But, well now, I'm fully recovered. Dad, how are you? Hung's mouth, healed. It turned out to be really good, a genius doctor. Mr. Baizi is a genius doctor ... Many worried cadres and crew members around, tears of excitement came out one by one, and they were so moved. Plop ... Ace didn't say a word. In addition to being excited, he immediately knelt down on one knee again. Mr. Baizi, you saved Dad. If it wasn't for you before, my Ace's life would have been lost, and my Ace's life will be yours from now on. Yes. Such a real man scene. Whitebeard's eyes are full of relief. As early as when Baizi rescued Ace before, he had already decided that no matter whether he was alive or not, he would let Ace leave his pirate group and turn to Baizi. Intuition tells him that Baizi's future achievement as emperor is just his starting point, and his achievements are even greater than Ace's father Roger. And he, being able to become the 4 emperors is already his pinnacle. Dad, Ace wanted to say something, but tears were already flowing. But in this room, Whitebeard looked like a kind old man, without the haughty appearance of the 4 emperors at all, and said earnestly, "Good boy, I understand what you say. Follow your heart, Baizi is a good captain, he is more suitable for One Piece King of Pirates than me. Only he is more suitable for you." Listening to Whitebeard's words, everyone present was shocked. Nice captain. Better to be One Piece, king of pirates than him. My God, the strongest man in the world, actually said such a thing. If this word spreads out, I am afraid it will shock the whole world. Dad, I'm sorry, Ace is unfilial. Tilda. Immediately, Ace buckled 3 heads at Whitebeard. That night, the group got quite drunk on the pirate ship Moby Dick. It was also in this room that an uninvited guest took a boat and came to Whitebeard's pirate ship. Stop, what? Ah, female, Empress Boa Hancock. No, the enemy attacked, the Queen Shichibukai. Empress Boa Hancock is here. A sound that pierced the air lingered over the entire Moby Dick, and could not be subdued for a long time, and immediately the entire Moby Dick was blown up. Even Baizi and the others who were celebrating on the deck were all startled. Concubine, I didn't disturb everyone's yaxing. The king, Shichibukai, shot the captain of the pirate group, the Queen Boa Hancock, a peerless beauty known as the Pirate Queen, who came to Whitebeard's Moby Dick at night. Whitebeard, your injury. Hancock hasn't finished what he said before, just seeing that Whitebeard was so badly injured during the day and is now intact, is it? The kind of recovery potion that Koala said. Thinking of this, Hancock's beautiful eyes brightened even more. Goo la 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 Tilda. It's just a small injury, how could I have no choice? Seeing that Hancock was not murderous, Whitebeard had long promised that Baizi would not tell this matter, and Isho turned to the topic. So that's the case, then congratulations to Whitebeard's recovery from his serious injury. Because of his status as Shichibukai under the king, I still look to Hihan for offending everyone. Hancock's sweet voice rang out, everyone was stunned, and then heard Hancock's voice again. The purpose of getting up and coming this time is for Mr. Baizi. Mr. Baizi, can you move on and talk about it? The polite Hancock just finished his words, and everyone's eyes fell on Baizi. But the corner of Baizi's mouth is curved. Is this woman still here? Chapter 46_Demon Contract, User Empress Hancock. Moby Dick, a room somewhere. Under the deep eyes of Ryokugyu and Marco, the two entered the room. Mr. Baizi, your concubine is taking the liberty to come here, you won't be surprised. Originally, Boa Hancock had some doubts about Koala's words, but when the party saw the appearance of Whitebeard, who was seriously injured in the war, the Empress Hancock believed it. Moreover, other than Baizi, she couldn't think of anyone else in the entire Whitebeard pirates who had this ability. The famous Shichibukai Black Thief Empress. I won't ask me to ask about Whitebeard's injury. Looking deeply at the peerless beauty of the pirate empress in front of him, Baizi couldn't help feeling that she deserved it. As for the purpose of her coming, Baizi also guessed 7 or 8 points, thinking that Koala and Hancock, who were both slaves of Tenryubito, had a good relationship. Boa Hancock saw that his proud beauty did not change much to Baizi, so he could only clarify his intentions. To be honest, this concubine is here for something. Really, Then I don't know why the Empress came here. Baizi was very clear in his heart, but asked with a pretentious expression on his face, fearing that this Empress was branded as a slave of Tenryubito. Sure enough, the Empress's next words confirmed Baizi's guess in a very real way. Hearing about Baizi's situation, Empress Hancock's beautiful eyes flickered, and after struggling for a while, her eyes became firm. My concubine is definitely here with sincerity, and I hope Mr. Baizi can keep the words of my concubine a secret. You can choose not to say it. Baizi glanced at the Empress across from him. To be honest, if she knew that she hadn't gained her confidence, she would have kidnapped him long ago, so why would she be beeping here? Don't forget that the girl in front of you is the captain of the 9 Snake Pirates, one of the Shichibukai recognized by the government, and the Queen Boa Hancock. Baizi is not a fool. He has already understood everything about the Empress Hancock's mind. It can be said that since the Empress came to the Whitebeard pirates, he knew what the Empress was going to do. Hancock. As the pirate queen, Shichibukai under the king, she has never been treated like this. If it wasn't for Baizi who was in front of her, she didn't have the confidence to defeat her, and she really wanted to turn it into a stone. A slight sigh of relief, after stabilizing her mind, the Empress, Boa Hancock, for the first time, told another person other than the third sisters their biggest secret. This matter started more than 10 years ago. Listening to the narration of the Empress Hancock, Baizi understands that the general trend is similar to the original plot, but since then, Boa Hancock and the current Revolutionary Army cadre Koala have forged a deep friendship, and they have been inseparable before parting. Immediately play the role. This life will definitely overthrow Tenryubito and make him pay the price. After talking about the biggest secret in his heart, Hancock couldn't help feeling very at ease, as if he had found some outlet. The dignified Empress, she was actually a slave of Tenryubito when she was young. If this matter were known to the world, it would probably cause quite a stir. My concubine believes that Mr. Baizi will not do this. As long as he can get Mr. Baizi's recovery potion, he is willing to do anything for Mr. Baizi. Long before he came, Hancock had planned for the worst. The trip is for himself and his two sisters, so that they can truly get rid of the shadows and live under the sun in the future. This is not surprising for a woman who had long lived in the shadow of Tenryubito's slave brand. 3 recovery potions. Lady Empress thinks you have any bargaining chips in exchange. Hearing Baizi's words, Hancock's beautiful eyes narrowed. What he cared about was not what chips to exchange, but he actually knew that he wanted 3 recovery potions, not 1, nor 2. Is it? Suddenly, Empress Hancock stared at Baizi with surprised eyes. Does this guy know that his 2 younger sisters also have the Tenryubito brand, and he didn't mention them just now? Don't be surprised, you and your 2 sisters bear the Tenryubito brand, I know. Hearing Baizi's confession, the female emperor's eyes changed when she looked at this man again. This was the biggest secret in her heart, but the person in front of her knew everything. How could this be possible? Could it be Koala? It's just that with the relationship between the two, she won't betray herself. For a time, one possibility after another appeared in Hancock's mind, but in the end, it didn't make sense. It's not impossible to want 3 recovery potions, but your Empress, Boa Hancock, has to promise me a condition. Boa Hancock is a rare talent. If he can be brought under his command like Fujitora Isho and Ryokugyu, it will affect the future situation. Definitely another big help. Really? What conditions? Hearing that Baizi gave himself 3 recovery potions, Hancock's beautiful eyes filled with joy. It's simple. Baizi looked at Boa Hancock meaningfully. I'm short of manpower now, you can be my subordinate. As soon as this statement came out, the pirate Empress Boa Hancock on the opposite side fell silent, as if he was weighing something, and Baizi didn't urge him. 1 minute. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. It lasted for 10 minutes, and finally the Empress, tangled expression returned to decisiveness and determination again, and nodded heavily, okay. However, if the Amazon Lily Kingdom encounters an irresistible disaster one day in the future, you have to help us through the crisis. Empress Hancock pondered over and over again, but agreed to Baizi's excessive demands. The biggest reason for this was that the man in front of him had the qualifications to make him his subordinate, and he also had the strength to protect his kingdom. Before the war, she would have thought about it for a long time, but now she doesn't need it at all, because this man Conqueror Haki, Marinero Kushiki's ultimate meaning and the shocking fruit, etc. All are reasons to convince her. Yes, since you are my subordinate, then your power is my power, and your enemy is my enemy. I, Baizi, will take over together. The plain voice resounded in the heart of Empress Boa Hancock, as if a thunderous explosion made her beautiful eyes flicker, especially Baizi's last sentence, your enemy is my enemy, and I will take over with Baizi. This guy said this when he knew that his enemy was Tenryubito, really. But at the same time when Empress Boa Hancock was full of gratitude, Baizi finally used it to trigger the devil contract for the first time. That's right, it is the demon contract similar to the recovery potion in Baizi's items, and this contract is another trigger, That is, the target to be used must be people who are convinced or have a good impression of Bai Z, so the use of the demon contract can only be used to maximize. As for the direct use of the demon contract, it is not bad, but the effect will be greatly reduced, and it is obviously the most appropriate to use a demon contract for the female Emperor Boa Hancock. Chapter 47 Subordinate Empress, The Mind of Hexia Jinbei. Congratulations to the host demon contract to lock the female Emperor Boa Hancock successfully. The contract level is perfect. Perfect level demon contract. The contracted person has 100% loyalty to the host, and everything will be centered on the host, and the contractor can sacrifice everything, even life, for the host. Note: the demon contract will not change being cast. The character, the way of doing things, everything exists in the subconscious of the contracted person. Quote. Knowing the function of the perfect demon contract, the corners of Bai Z's mouth twitched. With such a connection, it can be said that the female Emperor Boa Hancock at this time is more reliable than Fujitora Isho and Ryokugyu. Tilde. It's strange, why do I feel like my attitude towards this guy has changed? Boa Hancock, for some reason, felt that there was some kind of wonderful connection between himself and Bai Z, as if his status in his heart had risen a lot. The role of the perfect demon contract emerges. But this is just the beginning, and as time goes by, the role of the demon contract will gradually strengthen, and eventually it will reach the perfect level demon contract, which can sacrifice everything for Bai Z. Tilde. This is 3 recovery potions. After using it, the so-called Tenryubito's slave brand will be self-defeating. The demon contract was successfully bound, and Boa Hancock became the only one who could believe it 100%. If this matter is known to the outside world, what kind of uproar will happen? Concubine, thank the captain. Boa Hancock's beautiful eyes flashed with excitement and joy, and he hurriedly straightened his posture and bowed to thank him. Well, if that's the case then let's go out. The matter is over. Bai Z, who waved his hand, raised his foot and walked towards the door, leaving behind the Empress Boa Hancock, holding the recovery potion in his hand tightly, and swearing in his heart that he will repay the captain as much as possible in the future. A quarter of an hour later. Peef tilde cough tilde cough tilde. What? Shichibukai Empress Boa Hancock has joined us. This. Captain, are you sure? My god tilde tilde tilde. Star of Kuro stared at Hancock, the pirate queen of Shichibukai under the king, with wide-eyed eyes, because these words came from her mouth, and he was extremely sure that he listened carefully to every word. Absolutely right. Click tilde. Crack tilde crack tilde 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 tilde. Dozens of sounds of wine glasses being shattered resounded in my ears. Everyone in the Whitebeard pirates, including Whitebeard, and Fujitora Isho Ryokugyu were also shocked by this news. Pirate Empress Hancock joins Bai Z. What kind of earth-shattering news is this? Completely beyond their understanding. Ace is even more brilliant. Is this the biggest benefactor of his life? In an instant, dozens of eyes on the entire deck gathered on Bai Z and Shichibukai Boa Hancock, the pirate queen. 1 second. 10 seconds. 1 minute. Goo la 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 tilde. Whitebeard, who was the first to react, laughed up to the sky, looked at Hancock, the Empress, and said with a smile to Bai Z, "Little friend Bai Z is amazing. I don't know that old guy Sengoku learned that Boa Hancock, the pirate Empress of Shichibukai, was hired by you. Commander, what's your expression? It must be very exciting, ooh." The hearty laughter full of pride pierced the air and lingered in every inch of the Moby Dick. There was no denying that this was the happiest night of his life. Facing Whitebeard's hearty smile, Empress Boa Hancock took a sip of her wine gracefully and smiled without saying anything. She obviously did not take this joking remark to heart. The Star of Kuro pinched his thigh fiercely, and the unparalleled sting made him shudder. This pain, really. It is true. Hancock, one of the pirate queens of Shichibukai under the 9 Snakes and Black Thieves, is going to work with him, and will become a close comrade in arms in the future. A time. Kuro Star feels like he's dreaming. That's the King Shichibukai. Taken by their captain, Tisk Tisk. It's hard to imagine that such an existence was a trainee on a red-haired ship just like him not long ago. The world of the evil genius is not something that ordinary people like him can understand. A while. This news spread like wildfire, spreading to the ears of the Whitebeard pirates, Bai Zi, and some pirates who had not left. No doubt, it was like water droplets splashing into a frying pan, instantly boiling. Hey, did you hear that Boa Hancock is going to join the Bai Zi cadre's ship? Boa Hancock, the Shichibukai pirate queen. How is that possible? It's true, on the Whitebeard Moby Dick, they were celebrating, and I saw Boa Hancock, the queen, in the distance, and they were talking and laughing. I'm afraid it's really possible. I saw Hancock and Bai Zi enter the room on the Whitebeard pirate ship before. Could it be the pirate queen was captured by Bai Zi cadre? That can't be right. For a time, the expressions of many pirates changed greatly, and thousands of eyes turned to Whitebeard's main ship Moby Dick. Among the many people, there is a Shichibukai who is also the king. His eyes are flickering. I don't know what he is thinking. This person is none other than the one who was rescued by Bai Zi from the 6 underground levels of infinite hell in Impel Down, Shichibukai, Hexia Jinbei, who is like the female Emperor Boa Hancock. That's right, it's him. Speaking of which, although he and Boa Hancock have nothing to do with each other, they become Shichibukai, the king of mutual benefit with Marine, and their starting point is very similar. Boa Hancock is for the Amazon Lily Kingdom behind him, and Jinbei is for his hometown Fishman Island, all relying on Marine as their backing, seeking their shelter. Only in this way can they survive in a chaotic world like the New World. After all, if the 4 emperors and the others launch a charge, their country and hometown will be occupied in an instant, and then they will lose their country and hometown. Boa Hancock, she actually decided to join Bai Zi's command and seek asylum ... Jinbei looked in the direction of the Moby Dick and fell into contemplation. If it was before the war, he might not have considered this aspect, but now the situation is different. With the development of Bai Zi's team, especially his super strength, it may not be long before he will become the 5th emperor of the New World. At that time, he will be completely qualified to compete with the 4 emperors. Thinking of a certain possibility, Jinbei's eyes gleamed brightly. Although the contact time was not long, he still had some understanding of Bai Zi's person. It might be a good choice to entrust the future of Fishman Island to him. Charlotte Linlin, who now controls and threatens Fishman Island. The most important point is that he publicly executed Ace for Marine and fell out with Marine. This King Shichibukai is estimated to have done it. He must find a backer in the shortest time, otherwise the future of Fishman Island will be worrying. Thinking of this, Jinbei, who is full of brilliance, his eyes became concentrated, and he looked in the direction of the Moby Dick again, and he already had a decision in his heart. Chapter 48 Bai Zi was appointed, and the pirates were established. The next day. The sky is clear, the sea is rippling. A lot of waves were rolling under the fluctuation of the tide. Whitebeard and his party drove the Moby Dick to say goodbye to Bai Zi. After all, the war caused such a big stir, and there were many forces within their jurisdiction. In particular, Whitebeard and his party slapped Marine hard with Bai Zi. Marine would not suffer such a big loss in vain. After sending Whitebeard away, Star of Kuro looked at Ace and the Empress Boa Hancock not far away, and couldn't help but sip his lips, filled with emotion. There are 2 more monsters on their ship. The captain of the 2nd Division of the original Whitebeard pirates, Ace they rescued in the war on the top, and the other is even more incredible, Boa Hancock, the pirate queen of Shichibukai. If you add Fujitora Isho Ryokugyu, and yourself, the overall combat power can be said to be not weaker than the 4 emperors. Even if it is worse, it is not much worse. Captain, let's go next. Kuro looked back with emotion, and asked Bai Zi, but before he could finish speaking, a voice came from a small boat not far away. Mr. Bai Zi, please stay. This remark directly interrupted Kuro Star's words, and everyone on the Baizi boat looked over and saw a familiar figure. This figure is none other than Jinbei, who made the decision last night in the Tangle, Hexia Jinbei. King Shichibukai, Jinbei. Another King Shichibukai tilde. Jinbei's appearance immediately attracted Kurostar and others. Only the Empress Hancock raised her eyebrows slightly, looking at Jinbei deeply, suddenly thinking of this person's situation. The corner of her mouth couldn't help raising a radian. "Oh, Your Majesty Shichibukai Jinbei." Baizi looked at Jinbei with interest and said with a smile, "The cooperation between you and me ended after the war on the top, and now you are free." Baizi also guessed 7 or 8 points about the purpose of Jinbei's visit. As for the purpose, it should be similar to that of Boa Hancock. "I'm afraid it is because of Fishman Island. Mr. Baizi, I, Jinbei, are willing to join your command, may I?" Jinbei, who had already made up his mind, went straight to the topic, but Jinbei's words shocked Ace and Kurostar and others. "Jinbei. This king, Shichibukai, is rushing to join Hakuzawa's team." Seeing Baizi's frown slightly, Jinbei clenched his fists and bit his silver teeth, the blue veins on his forehead bulging, and sincerely pleaded, "To be honest, when I heard that Ace was publicly executed by Marine, I was impulsive. I went to the Marine headquarters and wanted to have a theory, but they were locked in the 6th floor of the impelled down infinite hell, and even after the war on the top, Marine and I had already broken up, so I had to do it in the shortest possible time. Looking for a supporter in time, a supporter who can shelter and preserve my hometown, Fishman Island." Quote. Jinbei didn't hide anything. He told all the reasons why he joined Baizi, and after hearing Jinbei's story, Kurostar and others inexplicably felt a little sympathy for Jinbei. In the eyes of outsiders, Shichibukai under the king is very beautiful, but they are the enemies of Marine and the pirates. The suffering, only they themselves know. Shichibukai is also the king. I can understand his situation. Why don't the captain give him a chance? Boa Hancock pondered for a while, and said aloud, "Of course, the main factor she considered was Baizi's interests are the main thing. After all, the influence of the demon contract is very powerful, which even Boa Hancock himself has not discovered. In her opinion, this is a matter of course." Hearing this, Jinbei couldn't help but cast a grateful look at Boa Hancock. After all, there are very few people who can speak for him at the moment. Empress Boa Hancock taking the lead, Ace, who has a trace of guilt, and Kurostar and others on the side also echoed. A little later, Baizi, who pondered for a few breaths, locked the demon contract to Hexia Jinbei again, pretending to be reluctant. "Okay, if that's the case, then you can stay. However, let's face it, I can promise you to protect Fishman Island, but if one day I find out that you betrayed me, I will personally take action and solve you. Don't blame me then." Face was frosty, but his heart was Vivi Isho. Another Shichibukai came under his command. At the same time, the demon contract was successfully bound. Just like Boa Hancock, Jinbei joined his team after her second King Shichibukai. Glancing over the growing team, Lang Ran said, "Take advantage of today, assign the cadres on board. Fujitora Isho and Ryokugyu are the 2 vice-captains of the team, and they will be the captains in my absence." Hearing Baizi's words, Ace, Kurostar and others nodded silently. There is no need to question the strength of the two. They both have the combat power of the admiral level, which is something that none of them can do. Boa Hancock. "Captain." Seeing Baizi calling him, the Empress Boa Hancock spoke out solemnly, because from the beginning, they were afraid that they would be heading towards the journey of the 5th Emperor in the New World. "Queen Boa Hancock, from now on, will be the captain of our first team." As soon as this remark came out, the female Emperor Boa Hancock felt flattered. She didn't expect that Baizi would be the captain of the first team when she was hungry. "Concubine, thank the captain." Empress Boa Hancock reveals her sweet Isho, which is as elusive and unreachable as the snow lotus in the Tianshan Mountains. "Hehe, congratulations to the Empress for being the captain of the first team on our ship, everyone is welcome." Ryokugyu Hehe Isho unsteadily, said cooingly. I've seen Captain Empress. As soon as Ryokugyu said this, the surrounding subordinates immediately shouted, which was called a trendy pengbai. Goddess, that's it. Nyang Exipes, and now she has become the captain of the first team on their ship. Tisk tisk, if this is spread out, they will be more face to face. Vivi Isho, S by Z, his eyes fell on Ace, who was rescued by himself from the war from the top. Ace. Captain. Before, you were the captain of the 2nd Division of the Whitebeard Pirates, and from now on you will be the captain of the 2nd Division of my Whitebeard. Showed his understanding of Isho, said to Ace earnestly. Thank you, Captain. Hearing Baizi's appointment, Ace clenched his fists tightly, and a touch of gratitude surged in his heart. He knew that the captain was thinking of him, and he swore secretly that he would live up to the expectations of the benefactor captain in the future. Jinbei. Yes, Captain. Jinbei, who was bound by the demon contract, subconsciously became more convinced of Baizi, and answered with a loud voice. From now on, you are the captain of my 3rd division under Baizi. In the future, no matter whoever dares to make an enemy of your Fishman Island, that is my Baizi's enemy. Plop tilde, sounded. Hearing this, Jinbei knelt down towards Baizi without any hesitation. Jinbei, Captain. The meaning of Baizi's words gave him a complete reassurance. Jinbei had no doubts about anyone in his mouth, including Marine, Shichibukai, the 4 emperors, and the Revolutionary Army. Fishman Island at the moment has been included in his sphere of influence by Baizi, and this will also be the starting point for them to attack the 5th emperor. Well, get up. Accepting Jinbei's kneeling calmly, Baizi's eyes fell on Kuro Star, the last person today, which made Kuro Star twitch all over. Could it be the star of Kuro? The excited star of Kuro was even more straightforward, kneeling in front of Baizi just like Jinbei. Look at your bear-like appearance. From today onwards, you will be the captain of my 4th division under Baizi. Among many captains, you are the weakest, so you should ask Vice Captain Ryokugyu for more advice. Yes, Captain. The eyes of Kuro's star are full of excitement and excitement. Captain, he has become the captain's cadre, the captain of the 4th division. Will he be famous in the new world in the near future? So excited tilde. I have seen 2 vice captains and 4 team captains. I don't know where the ship came from. A voice pierced the air and lingered in the sky of the entire pirate ship. In an instant, everyone shouted in unison again and spread to this sea area. Chapter 49 surprised the world with the ending. Brewing overnight. The result of the war on the top was like a plague, instantly spreading throughout the whole new world. It is terrifying to know the ability of the messenger pigeon. Although the Marine headquarters tried their best to block the news, it still did not achieve much effect. At this moment, the ruined Marineford Marine headquarters. Bad news abounds. Sengoku the Buddha rages in the office. First, the super-strong Garp ignored his retention and sent a letter of resignation to his office. He resigned himself to the 2nd line and went to the recruit department to train recruit. Then, Sengoku got the leader of the Revolutionary Army, Long, and with the remaining half of the cadres, he captured and fell several kingdoms. What made him furious the most was the headline on the front page of the letter. Marineford Battle, Red-haired pirate leader Baizi single-handedly beats more than 100,000 Marine elites. Turn the tide. Close black lens bracket. Bang tilde. Seeing the headline on the front page of the letter, Sengoku immediately slapped the table into 8.5, and the whole office was filled with black smoke. And this is not the most annoying. The most annoying is the content of the report, which is a true reproduction of yesterday's battle on top of Marineford. From Whitebeard being seriously injured by Akainu's shameless sneak attack, to Akainu's provocation causing Ace to fight in anger, and then Ryokugyu played a punch to force Akainu back. The face killed Akainu, and then Garp was kicked back with a punch, and finally Sengoku and thousands of Marine elite ability fruit people were also smashed in the hands of Baizi. The most shocking thing to the world is that Baizi actually knew the ultimate meaning of Marine Rokushiki, Six Kings spear and the ability to shake the fruit that finally appeared on him. These two, like two cannonballs exploded in various places in the New World, shocked the people of countless countries. Redford, the Red Hair Pirates. Captain, something has happened. Something has happened. That boy by Z, my God, come quickly. A cadre stared at the newspaper with wide-eyed eyes, shouting at the top of his voice. Many cadres and members of the ship all gathered around, even the redhead and Ben Beckman came over. Before the two of them came to the front, they heard the screams of a group of cadres under them. This is Marine Rokushiki Ultimate Esoteric 6. 6 King Guns. Hey, I'll be darling, after Katakuri and the others left, that kid had sex with the legendary marine hero Garp. More than that, look at the back, even Sengoku has shot. I really didn't think that kid's hockey can already make hard steel with Sengoku the Buddha. What a terrifying growth rate. Have the legendary hero Garp and Marine Fleet Admiral Sengoku the Buddha been killed? Whitebeard's air shock is really interesting. It has directly overturned thousands of Marine Devil Fruit abilities. This operation is simply... What a terrifying combat power. Did that guy Baizi abruptly stop the decisive battle? It's incredible. Many cadres and members around saw the information in the newspaper. The corners of their mouths twitched, and their eyelids twitched wildly. They thought that Baizi just killed a Kainu and gave his magma fruit to the second in command of the Revolutionary Army. Who would have thought? That was just the beginning of a decisive battle. Although it was just a newspaper narrative, they could already predict in their minds what a terrible scene it was at that time. The power of one person, 10,000 people do not open. The entire Marine, in the end, it was a success and left in a grand manner. What are you talking about? I'm so excited. Is the final result of the war coming out? Ben Beckman came to the arena with a smile, and while talking, he and Shanks looked at the newspaper together. However, soon Ben Beckman can't laugh. Because, he was also shocked by the reports in the newspapers. Marinero Kushiki's ultimate mystery, destroyed Garp Sengoku, the top Conqueror hockey, and overturned thousands of Marine Elite Devil Fruit power users. Ben Beckman's eyelids jumped wildly. Even the vice captain of his red-haired pirates couldn't do such a feat. As for the red hair, he looked at the newspaper with a deep meaning, with a gleam of light in his eyes, and muttered to himself, this kid has grown terribly. Wano Kuni Ghost Island, Kaido of the Beast's headquarters. Bang sounded. Without the slightest sign, the door of the conference room where the cadres such as Kaido of the Beasts, Fire Calamity, and Epidemic Queen, who were holding the highest meeting, were slammed open by one of their subordinates. In an instant, more than a dozen eyes gathered on the subordinate, and for a moment, the subordinate was so frightened that he was about to urinate. However, the arrow is already on the line and has to be sent. The daring subordinate, hesitantly sounded in the conference room, no. It's not good, boss. Boss, there is something big going on at the top of the war. The younger brother put the newspaper in his hand tremblingly in front of Kaido, and then stepped aside, beads of sweat dripping from his forehead. It's not that he doesn't want to go, it's that he doesn't dare. Because he just interrupted the highest meeting in the group, which is definitely a death penalty in normal times. As Kaido's gaze fell on the newspaper, many cadres in the entire conference room, including the confidant of the Fire and the Plague Queen, fell into silence. No one dares to say a word more. 1 second. Half a minute. 1 minute. This quiet and depressing atmosphere lasted for several minutes, and many officials of the Kaido of the Beast's pirates only saw that their boss's face was getting darker and heavier, and his anger was getting stronger and stronger. At some point, it finally broke out. Reading the news in the newspaper, Kaido stood up abruptly. The tables, chairs and benches in the conference room surrounded by anger were creaking, and the endless evil spirit swayed towards the 4 poles, and the surrounding glass made an overwhelmed clicking sound. The end, there was a crashing, sound all over the ground. Bastard, damned Whitebeard, that guy. Let Whitebeard escape. Kaido's lungs are exploding at the moment. Marinero Kushiki's ultimate mystery, Six Kings Spear, and top Conqueror Haki. Even that kid has the same ability to shake the fruit as Whitebeard. This, riding a horse, is simply the second redhead, and if he grows fully in the future, even the redhead may not be able to beat him. Damn it. Is that kid really just a cadre of the Red Hair Pirates? No wonder, that kid dared to lead the team to the top of the war alone. Even if the strength of this kid is not as good as their 4 emperors, I am afraid it is not far behind. But, why, there was no sign before. Jingle bell tilde tilde. At this moment, the phone worm on the conference table rang, and Yan Zonjin frowned slightly and connected the phone, but as soon as he answered the phone, the news from the opposite side shocked Yan Zonjin. What? Whitebeard is not dead, somehow his injuries are fully recovered, and he is better than before the war, and now he has returned to his territory. How is it possible? Loud bang tilde. As soon as Yan Jahan said this, everyone present, including Kaido of the Beasts, sank their hearts, which was undoubtedly unprecedented bad news for them. This news, doesn't it mean that their role in intercepting the red hair this time is all in vain? Fuck, how could it be like this? What happened tilde tilde tilde. Chapter 50 _ Target Fishman Island. Fried. That's right. The whole world exploded. There is no doubt that the first battle at the top succeeded by Z, an unknown existence before the New World. However, Bai Z's past was quickly uncovered. What killed the Kaido of the Beast's 4 pirates, killed Jack Drought, smashed Impel down, and even destroyed Charlotte Linlin's Dessert 3 will star Charlotte Smoothie. Etc., etc. Piece by piece, like a movie, in countless people pirates, Marine's mind flew past. The name of Bai Z suddenly soared, resounding throughout the entire continent of the New World. Kaido of the Beasts learned that Whitebeard was not dead, and Charlotte Linlin, who was also the 4th emperor, was equally mad on the other side. As for the redhead, he was overjoyed when he heard the news, haha. To be honest, I haven't been this happy in a long time. Under the rare collaboration between Kaido of the Beasts and Charlotte Linlin, it turned out to be nothing. There is nothing more exhilarating than this. The headquarters of the Revolutionary Army, Bal Diego, the island of white soil. Good, good, good. Leader of the Revolutionary Army, Long, was relieved when he learned that Whitebeard was not dead. If there is anyone in this world who thinks closest to them besides their Revolutionary Army, it is undoubtedly the domain of the Whitebeard pirates. It can be said that Whitebeard alone has carried the peaceful life of countless people in the territory. In his opinion, Whitebeard is better suited to be the ruler of the world today than the hypocrites of Marine. No matter the leader Long, Sabo, or many cadres of the Revolutionary Army, they are all full of surprises, but Koala is the only one with beautiful eyes flashing, and the mind can't help but think of the recovery potion he took on Bai Z's boat before, is it? Whitebeard used a restoration potion on Whitebeard. Apart from this possibility, Koala really couldn't think of any other way to make Whitebeard, who is destined to dissipate, recover from his injury and return to his peak. At the same time as all parties were sensational, another piece of news spread throughout the New World like a thunderous explosion. Not exactly one message, but 3 messages. The first is that the pirate queen Boa Hancock voluntarily quit the Shichibukai under the king and became the captain of the 1st Division under Bai Z. The second piece of news is that the former Whitebeard pirates, the captain of the 2nd Division of the Whitebeard pirates, who was executed at the top of the war, quit the Whitebeard pirates and joined Bai Z's subordinates, becoming the 2nd Division captain of Bai Z's subordinates. The third piece of news is that Jinbei, who is also the Shichibukai under the king, was previously imprisoned by the Marine headquarters in the endless hell of the 6th floor of the Impel Down. Like the Empress Boa Hancock, he gave up the title of Shichibukai under the king and joined Bai Z Husha and became Bai Z Husha, the captain of the 3rd Division under Z's command. The news of 3 arrivals is like 3 thunders and lightning, resounding throughout the whole New World. As soon as this news came out, Marine Headquarters was furious, Sengoku the Buddha was furious, Kaido of the Beasts was shocked, Charlotte Linlin was also blooming in a cold light, and even Blackbeard almost bit his own tongue in surprise. Riding a horse, is that boy Baizi going to set up a new portal tilde? This kind of thing is very common in the New World, just like he approached Whitebeard for the shock fruit before, but now he has become the King Shichibukai and has his own pirate group. It's just that what Blackbeard absolutely can't understand is that Baizi's subordinates are so powerful. Two deputy captains, Fujitora Isho and Ryokugyu, have the female Emperor Boa Hancock and the sea hero Jinbei under their command, and even Ace, the note at the top of the war, has been brought under his command. In this regard, the Whitebeard pirates have no objection at all. If this were placed on the other four emperors, the war would have started directly tilde. Whitebeard pirates, Moby Dick. Goo la 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 tilde. Whitebeard, who has a great body, no longer has to avoid alcohol, eat meat and drink heavily. This is what pirates should look like. Hearing that Baizi officially set up a squad, Whitebeard was also very happy, especially when he learned that Ace was still the captain of the second squad. That kid Jinbei also joined in, but he made a really wise decision. Quote, however, today's Fishman Island is not very peaceful. It seems that some of them are being held hostage by Charlotte Linlin. It seems that this new world will be unstable again. Thinking of Fishman Island, Whitebeard's eyebrows raised a look of anticipation, wondering if Baizi knew about Fishman Island, and with that guy's temperament, would he go to war with Charlotte Linlin? I think it won't take long for Baizi to leave the Red Hair Pirates. At that time, I'm afraid the new fifth emperor of the New World will not be far away. Dad, Ace has become the captain of the second division again. Jozu said with a hearty laughter full of excitement, not only him, but also Marco, Foil Vista and others with happy smiles on their faces. Gu la la la, today to celebrate Xiaoyu Baizi and Ace, you won't go home if you don't get drunk. Whitebeard proudly raised it and was taken, and gulped a cup into his stomach. Yes, Dad. Cheers. Ha 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 tilde. Not surprisingly, there was a drinking feast on the Whitebeard pirate ship, and the warm atmosphere quietly opened for a long time. Just as Whitebeard was worried, Jinbei, the seaman, gave up the title of Shichibukai, the new Fishman pirate group on Fishman Island, went to the front unscrupulously, and wanted to join forces with the flying pirates to subvert Fishman Island, and is ready to plot to assassinate Neptune, the god of the sea, the king of the Dragon Palace. A new turmoil kicked off on Fishman Island, and the news was soon known to the outside world, especially Jinbei, who learned the news, with a chilling gleam in his eyes. Immediately, the Black Thief group that Baizi belonged to held their first meeting, held a little meeting, and decided to head to Fishman Island as their next stop, and use that as their starting point. Fishman Island tilde. Hearing Fishman Island, Ryokugyu's eyes gleamed, and he asked Jinbei who was beside him, how many masters are you in Fishman Island? Like Akainu, if there are 3 or 5, it will be very enjoyable to fight. Jinbei. Of course there are masters on Fishman Island, but those like Akainu obviously don't have them, otherwise they wouldn't have to rely on other forces. Then the destination of our next stop is Fishman Island. By the way, we will clear some cats and dogs and rectify them. Baizi stood up and looked towards Fishman Island, which is said to belong to the area under the command of Charlotte Linlin. Chapter 51 North Blue Giant Demon Practicing Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit. Few days later, in the waters off Fishman Island. On the calm sea, there was a sudden, crashing, sound, and the next moment, an object as thick as an octopus tentacle rose from the sea and shot straight into the sky. In the blink of an eye, he came to the sky above the Beizong Sea. On top of this giant tentacle, there was also a giant shark wearing a prisoner's clothing, the giant tooth shark, and this giant tooth shark was none other than the pet of Princess Shirahoshi of the Dragon Palace Kingdom on Fishman Island. Originally, he came out to breathe and relax, and he never wanted to be entangled by the ever-big octopus monster. Whoa tilde tilde. Several bursts of water splashed with the power of dozens of feet of waves, and then 7 huge tentacles that were exactly the same as before rose into the sky, playing with the huge shark that was supported by the previous tentacle. This state has been going on for several days, and Princess Shirahoshi must be very sad, and the huge shark is crying and crying. Zitsa tilde tilde. Just as the giant shark Megalo was in agony, a thunderbolt the thickness of a bucket instantly hit the octopus tentacles wrapped around him. G tilde tilde tilde. Immediately below the sea surface, the harsh sound of sound waves spread through the water surface and swayed through the entire sea area nearby, and the entangled giant shark, Megalo, was thrown out by tentacles like a little bit. Baizi's gravity fruit turned into an invisible giant palm, took Megalo down and placed it in the seawater not far from him. Huh. Jinbei was startled when he saw Megalo being rescued by Baizi. You are Princess Shirahoshi's pet, Megalo. Megalo, who was rescued, heard someone tell him to follow his eyes subconsciously, and when he looked at the 2 huge shark eyes, he gave a humane nod. Seeing Megalo's excited appearance, the corners of Baizi's mouth curved into an indistinguishable arc. Of course, he knew that the one who was rescued by him was Poseidon, the Sea King, one of the 3 ancient weapons. His appearance made the female Emperor Boa Hancock feel ashamed. The peerless beauty, and also the princess who fainted Ryugu Kingdom. Ang tilde 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 tilde. But it was here that the 8 towering octopus tentacles that surfaced on the surface, like 8 giant mountains falling from the sky, suddenly smashed the boat towards Baizi, and that might be called destroying the sky and destroying the earth. The ferocity of the North Blue giant Kalakan is fully manifested at this moment. However, his ferocity had absolutely no effect on Baizi. Without the slightest fancy move, Baizi's right palm immediately flashed with thunder, and then Marinarokushiki's ultimate meaning, 6 King's Spear immediately punched out. Loud bang tilde. The next moment, the overwhelming thunder, carrying terrifying energy, collided directly with the 8 octopus tentacles that fell from the sky. A terrifying cracking sound, the 8 tentacles of the North Blue giant Kalakan were shattered on the spot, and half of them were shattered. The endless blood rain fell in the air. If Fujitora Isho shot and used gravity to cover the entire pirate ship, I am afraid that they would all be watered by the blood of the North Blue monster. The scene turned into sheer hell in an instant. As for the power of thunder that suddenly appeared, it is nothing but the Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble fruit, ability that Bai Zhejiang got. Although the power of thunder is not too strong, it has the blessing of Marinarokushiki's ultimate meaning, 6 King's Spear. Among them, the power is absolutely unprecedented. What's more, thunder is already terrifyingly strong in seawater, even more so than in the air. It can be said that Baizi's Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble fruit, is definitely the natural enemy of the North Blue monster Karakan. Looking at the blood river like sheer as hell, Kurostar and others on the boat jumped wildly. Obviously the brutal scene in front of them had a big impact on them. You guys are here, I'm going to meet this big guy. Voice fell, the soles of the feet touched, Marine Rokushiki moon step used, and appeared in the sky 100 feet in the next instant. Ong tilde 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 tilde. 4 octopus tentacles were shattered by Don't Little, and the giant mountain-like white sea monster Kalakan was furious, and the remaining 4 tentacles were drawn towards Baizi like crazy. Megalo, the huge shark rescued by Baizi. At this time, Megalo's pair of shark's eyeballs were round, staring at the brutal and vicious battlefield. What did it see just now? That human broke off the 4 tentacles of the North Blue monster Kalakan here with one punch. My god tilde tilde. North Blue monster Kalakan, ah, that is the demon that roams in Wangyang, the existence of the public enemy of mankind. Actually, 4 tentacles were cut off by that guy, and it was just a punch. This guy is even more powerful than the guardian of their Dragon Palace Kingdom, Lord Jinbei. Ziz tilde. Boom tilde 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 tilde. Thunder. Thunder in the sky. It appeared on this sea area without any warning, and what is even more worthy of a question is that at this moment, this sea area is clear, and there is not even a single dark cloud. A few days ago, Ryokugyu Fujitora and the others knew that in addition to the shock fruit and gravity fruit, Baizi has another extremely terrifying Logia fruit, Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble fruit. As the name suggests, it is a devil fruit that can control thunder, and it is also known as the most attacking fruit in Logia. If Luffy were to do it again at this moment, he would definitely be horrified. If Enel, the holder of Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble fruit, had such a failure, I am afraid that he would have been instantly killed by a single punch. After the top war. A gigantic creature, a small, ant-like, visually striking picture, presented scene by scene in front of everyone's eyes. Here, it is not an exaggeration to call it a battle of the world. Of the North Blue Giant monster, Fujitora, Ryokugyu and the others are actually enough. As for why Baizi took the shot himself, the reason is very simple. Because, he wants to brush the experience. That's right, it's the experience of brushing Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble fruit, and the notorious North Blue monster in front of him is undoubtedly his best target. Boom tilde. Bang 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 tilde tilde tilde. The sky is full of thunder and lightning, and Baizi here seems to have transformed into a thunder god of war, and his body is full of thunder and lightning. Captain, is this? That big guy is so strong, I think I can kill it in seconds with a few moves. Ryokugyu clenched a big fist full of explosive power and said in a earnest voice. Fujitora covered the sea with observation hockey on the side, paying attention to the battle situation on the field. Have you noticed that the captain's thunder power is getting stronger and stronger, and the use of it is becoming more and more skillful? Looking at the suppressed North Blue monster, Ace frowned suspiciously. Yes, the strength of this North Blue monster is not as strong as imagined. As for the captain's intention, it should be aimed at mastering the power of thunder. Ah! Ryokugyu froze when he heard it, and once again looked at the monstrous battle in the field. After a closer look, it became clear, so it is. No wonder, I said why the captain didn't even use the three-color hockey. Chapter 52 Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble fruit, swipe to full level and get the stretch potion. Above the sea, thunder and lightning. Battle is monstrous. The North Blue monster on the opposite side is also different from the one in Baizi's memory. He used the Marine Rokushiki ultimate meaning, Six Kings Spear, before, and carried a punch with the power of thunder to smash the four tentacles. Was reborn with the war. Although the regeneration speed is not as fast as his recovery potion, it is already extremely extraordinary in this world. If Marine and other forces find out, they will be able to capture this guy back for slicing research. To regenerate is more tempting for a person, especially those with higher status and status. For example, if the red-haired Shanks gets this ability to regenerate, will his left hand grow again? The combat power has definitely doubled. Congratulations to the host Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble fruit, for reaching level 1. Congratulations to the host Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble fruit, for level 2. Congratulations to the host Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble fruit, for reaching level 3. Congratulations to the host Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble fruit, for reaching 4. Above the sea, there were endless battles. With the escalation of the battle, the North Blue Giant monster was completely afraid, even frightened, because with the improvement of Baizi Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble fruit level, the North Blue Giant monster library Lacan's pressure can be said to have increased exponentially, and if it goes on like this, it will be electrocuted alive by thunder if it is finished early. The scarlet-eyed North Blue monster Kurakan, whose fighting spirit has dropped sharply, once again endured a thunderbolt from Baizi, and swam directly to the depths of the sea with the help of his strength. That speed was much faster than Fishman's. Want to run away. Looking at the opponent with superb experience, how could Baizi make it wishful? Without the slightest hesitation, the gravity fruit ability immediately covered the whole body, forming an invisible energy shield, and plunged into the seawater. A scene was presented under Fujitora Isho observation hockey on the deck, and the blinded pupils paused, as the captain's gravity fruit already used in such a situation. He is far from being able to form a lasting energy shield around his body. Although he can form the energy shield, it will not last for more than half a minute at most. It can only be maintained if it is shot again. Obviously, it is completely impractical for the water of the devil fruit nemesis. Next moment, the sound of roaring continuously came from the depths of the seabed and passed into the ears of everyone on the boat through the seawater. Megalo, the huge shark, was trembling all over. Just now, the person who possessed the thunder ability was not afraid of the sea at all, and now it has passed more than 10 times. It's been a minute. At this moment, in the deep sea. Congratulations to the host Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit, for leveling up. Congratulations to the host Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit, for reaching level 6. Congratulations to the host Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit, for reaching level 7. Soon after the North Blue Giant monster had endured tens of thousands, even tens of thousands of times of thunder, he finally reached the full level of Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit. Time, the figure flashed, and in the next instant, Baizi's feet stood on the ground like head of the North Blue Giant Karakan, and the corners of his mouth curved into an arc. Thunder. With Baizi's feet as the center, Zizi's fireworks and thunder, like a waterfall, spread to every corner of the North Blue monster's body, and Baizi was even in the center of the thunder. Woo 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 woo. Just as Lei Meng passed through his body, the famous North Blue Giant monster trembled and begged for mercy, begging for mercy. His scarlet eyes, which were 10 meters in size, were no longer fighting at this moment, and some were full of extreme fear. And fear. This human being in front of him is real. It is completely beyond the limit of its response. I am finally begging for mercy. It seems that this big man's ability to bear is not as strong as he thought. To kill such an existence, and it would be the wisest choice to take it for one's own use. Demon contract. That's right. Other people. Maybe he is not sure to completely control this murderous existence, but he is different from Baizi. He is the only man who has the only system in this world. Devil contract. Target North Blue Giant Kalakan. Use it. With a thought of Baizi, at the moment when the North Blue monster Karakan's willpower was at its weakest, a contract cursed by the devil appeared in the consciousness of the North Blue monster and merged with its soul. Ang. The loud and piercing sound waves swayed westward. If it weren't for the fact that the gravity-restricted area in Baizi had already exhausted the air to form a vacuum, the piercing sound waves alone would have been enough to eat a pot. However, he is fine, and the crew members above him are afraid to resist. Since this is the case, then let you calm down. Top Conqueror Hockey, fully open, looking at the wailing North Blue monster under his eyes, just like the female Emperor Boa Hancock and the sea hero Jinbei, they are both voluntary, while Baizi is obligatory to the North Blue monster at this moment. The resistance is of course very strong. Instant, with Baizi as the center, the dark red top-level Conqueror Hockey was fully opened, and the consciousness of the North Blue monster was the first to be affected. In an instant, with one person and one beast as the center, the ocean-like Conqueror Hockey exploded with a bang, and the sea water exploded. All of a sudden it was blown away by the shock. A vacuum was formed around the two of them at least 10 feet, and after a long time, the sea water eased and came back. North Blue Giant Karakan, who was stepped on by Baizi, at this moment, it was like a mouse that saw a cat, and his body was throbbing. This high-end top Conqueror Hockey, it has never seen a screaming sound wave. It also stopped abruptly. An instant, the entire depths of the sea fell into a dead silence, only the dark red hockey swept away and spread farther. 1 second, 10 seconds and 1 minute. The devil contract is still forcibly with North the Blue monster Kalakan has compatible souls, and the North Blue monster no longer dares to resist half a point, like fish on a chopping block. In this way, the fusion speed of the demon contract spreads rapidly, and at the same time, it is also related to IQ. The dark red Conqueror Hockey broke out of the water and then enveloped the entire sea. This is Hockey. Conqueror Hockey, and Top Conqueror Hockey. Captain, It must be the captain's Conqueror Haki. The top dark red Conqueror Haki surged out, and Megalo, who was rescued by Baizi before, had a pair of shark eyes that shrank suddenly. As Princess Shirahoshi's pet, its knowledge is of course extraordinary. Although he has never seen the owner of Conqueror Haki, he knows that anyone who owns Conqueror Haki is an overlord. He learned from the mouths of those in Ryugu that if someone in their Fishman Island has Conqueror Haki, then they can protect themselves without relying on any forces at all. However, it is a pity that in the huge area of their Fishman Island, no one has Conqueror Haki, not even anyone who has the qualification to awaken. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 10 telescopic potions. Just when Baizi completely controlled the North Blue monster Karakan, a systematic voice could not help but emerge in his mind. Bring up the properties panel. Name, Baizi. Age, 19. Ability, /1, Conqueror Haki 1, Armament Haki 1, Observation Haki 9, Marine Rokushiki 1 Devil Fruit, Shock Fruit 1, Gravity Fruit 9, Guro Guro no Mi Rumble Rumble Fruit 10 items, Restoration Potion 15, Demon Contract 2, Retractable Potion 10. When Baizi saw the retractable potion in the inventory, Baizi couldn't help but stunned. As the name suggests, looking at the giant North Blue monster in front of him, if the retractable potion was used on the North Blue monster, the effect would be what will happen. Thinking of Baizi here, I can't help but look forward to it. Chapter 53 Conquering the North Blue monster, the strength skyrocketed 10,000 times. Fishman Island, under the water of 10,000 meters. Recovery potion use. Target, North Blue monster Kalakan. For his own people, Baizi has never been stingy, just like Fujitora Isho's instructions, and Ryokugyu and Kuro Star's poisonous fruit and juice fruit. Of these two falls in the New World, it will definitely be comparable to the existence of Fire Fist Ace Burning Fruit. The reason for this is that in the future these people will return 10 times, 100 times, or even more to the him. Baizi's goal is not only the stubbornness in front of him, but also poetry and the distance. His ambition is not something that the world of pirates can hold, let alone a one-piece king of pirates that can satisfy him. What he wants is in the world of pirates, create a legend that will last forever, a legend that will be remembered forever, a great cause that you can't even imagine in this world. Of course, the premise of the ambition in Baizi's heart is that he must first become the power of the 4 emperors. Strength, and furthermore, only when he becomes the 4th queen can he be qualified to climb to the height of One Piece, king of pirates, and then can realize the great career plan in his heart. This plan, he had already made it when he crossed into the world of pirates, and the current trend is smoother and faster than he expected. Of course, these are things to come later. What he has to do now is to make the White Sea Giant Kraken the guardian of Fishman Island. To put it bluntly, he is to turn the North Blue Giant monster into the island guardian beast of Mermaid Island. If you say this idea, you will definitely be ridiculed by people, laughing at him for being an idiot, but this is a comparison. To be honest with Baizi, he really has this ability. After all, meow, this guy is a man with a killing upgrade system. After taking the recovery potion to the North Blue Giant Kalakan, it can be said that the life of the North Blue Giant Kalakan seems to have jumped at the moment of taking it. Not because of anything else, just because Baizi used not 1 recovery potion for the North Blue Giant Karakan, but 5. That's right. You heard me right. It was used abruptly on the North Blue Giant Karakan alone. One can imagine how strong Karakan's vitality is at the moment. In a blink of an eye, the North Blue Giant Karakan is like being baptized by holy water. The injury suffered by Baizi before was instantly recovered, and the original dark brown skin also turned dark golden. It is worth mentioning that the size of the North Blue Giant monster, which was already huge and unremarkable, has doubled in size with the blessing of the vitality of Baizi's 5 recovery potions. Baizi's eyes have clearly risen by dozens of feet. Mara sucks, what a dick recovery potion. Seeing his masterpiece, Baizi sighed with emotion, and at this moment, a voice came from the 10,000 meters deep sea. Kalakan, thank the master for the gift. A rough voice came from below Baizi, and Baizi was stunned for a moment, and then he looked at the North Blue giant Karakan under his feet, and his eyes were full of surprise. This voice. North Blue monster, is that you? The bright light in Baizi's eyes suddenly seemed to realize something incredible. Could it be that this potion can raise the life level of all things? If this is the case, I was afraid that even Xiao, as long as he is willing to spend the recovery potion, it is estimated that he can be resurrected. Mother is amazing. My recovery potion. It's me, Master. Thank you, Master, for giving me a new life. You gave me a new life. Listening to the voice of the North Blue monster, Baizi couldn't help thinking of the various creatures who had cultivated in the previous novels, and asked the North Blue monster curiously. However, Baizi quickly got an incomparably sure answer. That is, the North Blue monster doesn't have this ability, at least it doesn't now. Since the little demon was given 5 recovery potions, that's not bad for the telescopic potion. While thinking, immediately, Baizi injected 5 more expansion potions into the North Blue monster, and then waited for the North Blue monster to change. Master, this is what you gave to Kalakan again. No, what kind of ability the little demon has, it's amazing. After digesting the 5 telescopic potions, the North Blue monster tilted its huge head, and in Baizi's eyes, the huge body shrank at an extremely fast speed. Thousands of feet of body, rapidly shrinking. 1,000 zhang, 900 zhang, 800 zhang. In less than a minute, the North Blue giant monster of thousands of feet has shrunk 10 times to the size of 100 zhang. Moreover, this is not only due to the North Blue giant monster continuing to shrink. The original dark golden skin has now become a rich and pure golden color, which is very conspicuous in the 10,000-meter deep sea, and the momentum around it has also increased tenfold. I discovered the change of Kalakan, and there was a gleam in the eyes immediately. Sure enough, the expansion potion did not disappoint me. This thing is used on the little demon, so right. However, the little demon's body after 100 feet, it did not stop, but continued to become smaller. 100 zhang, 90 zhang, 80 zhang, 70 zhang for a short time. Demon came to a zhang, and finally reached an inch, which was also its limit. Looking at the little demon that was only an inch in size in the palm of his hand, and looked like a pet, Baizi was also slightly startled, to be honest, at this moment. 1,000 feet to an inch, Baizi felt that the strength of the North Blue monster had soared by nearly 10,000 times. The original pure golden color was once again upgraded to platinum and then finally transformed into an inch-sized glazed gold in front of him. First glance, it looks like a perfect work of art, and the little demon at the moment, Baizi feels that his strength is stronger than Fujitora Isho and Ryokugyu. He also did not expect that, inadvertently, he would have created such a terrifying existence. When he thought that such a guy was absolutely loyal to him, Baizi couldn't help but feel more confident in his future plans. Hee, little demon, you don't have to call me master from now on, just call me young Master Bai. The corners of Baizi's mouth curved into an arc, and said with a smile. It's the master, from now on the little demon will call you Master Bai. The glazed North Blue giant monster, no, it was the little monster who heard this, like a cute little pet, revolving around Baizi, as if celebrating something with joy. In front of him, Baizi couldn't believe that this glazed gold octopus was actually a North Blue monster with a size of 1,000 feet. Little demon, now I'll give you a task. What mission, Master Bai? Hearing the master's order, a rough voice appeared in the glazed golden color, which was extremely inconsistent, but no one knew that it was such a small thing that could completely kill Marine Admiral's existence. Starting today, you help me protect this fish. Man Island. Anyone who covets Fishman Island, whether Marine or the 4 emperors, will kill without mercy. Since Fishman Island is used as his headquarters, Baizi must have absolute control over security, and the little monster here undoubtedly meets his requirements in all aspects. Yes, young Master Bai. I am familiar with Fishman Island. Who dares to covet Fishman Island, I will definitely let him go back and forth. Feeling the surging power in his body, the North Blue giant monster with only 1 inch of gold, the size of a mung bean burst into a sharp gaze that made many creatures terrifying. However, no one knows by these words, what kind of bloody storm will be set off near Fishman Island in the near future, how many famous pirates in the New World, and marine elites will fall. Chapter 54 million rupees. Shirley prophesied that the nobles of Fishman Island will come soon. Baizi let the North Blue Monster, also known as the Little Monster, stay in the deep sea of 10,000 meters to guard Fishman Island. Baizi returned to the surface of the sea. Afterwards, the group entered Jinbei's hometown Fishman Island, and the giant shark Megalo, who came to Fishman Island, went to the Dragon Palace for the first time to prepare for the news of Jinbei's arrival in the next few days. Report up. Dragon Palace, the king's palace of the Dragon Palace Kingdom of the Sea God. When Megalo saw Neptune, the god of the sea, he slammed open the door and used the special communication method of mermaid to tell the king all the news about Jinbei's arrival these days. He also rescued Baizi and fought against the North Blue Monster. The matter of Kalakan was said together. What? You're sure that the human who came back with Jinbei has the top Conqueror haki? Megalo doesn't know Baizi. It doesn't mean that Neptune, the sea god Neptune, who is the king of Ryugu, doesn't know. That is, a few days ago, he learned that Jinbei had joined the banner of Baizi, the 14th cadre of the Red Hair Pirates, and became one of his squad leaders. This is also the reason why he originally wanted to distance himself from Jinbei and suppressed it. You must know that if they have a close relationship with Jinbei on Fishman Island, they might be wiped out by Marine in the future. However, it would be different if Jinbei joined that, under the banner of Baizi, who showed great power in the war. First, this person is a cadre of the red-haired pirates, and secondly, Baizi's strength is really tyrannical and outrageous. If their Fishman Island is friendly with this person, it might not be a good choice. Okay, you go to Princess Shirahoshi, she's worried these days. Neptune waved his hand and let Megalo go. He called the 3 sons of Ryugu Kingdom and the prince, Shark, King and Roller. Father, you have something to do with us! Exclamation mark quote. During this time, they were busy organizing the guards of the palace, and it became increasingly obvious that the newcomers, the fish pirates and the flying pirates colluded secretly to subvert their palace. It's just that the 2 big pirate groups are strong, they are not opponents at all, but fortunately, Hottie Jones wants to be the king of Fishman Island, and he won't do anything too outrageous. Now he wants to force the palace and force him to abdicate, in order to realize his grand plan for the new Fishman Kingdom. After a little of Neptune, the god of the sea, the 3 of them flashed a ray of light in their eyes. Father, what did you say? The 14th cadre of the red-haired pirates, Baizi, has come to our Fishman Island. The great Prince Shark Star was the first to react, and asked in unbelievable excitement. Not bad. Quote quote. Here's the thing. With that, Neptune recounted what the giant shark Megalo had just said to the 3 shark brothers. With Neptune's narration, the 3 Shaxing 3 believed. Because, from the mouth of their father, they not only heard but and also heard news such as Ryokugyu and Ace. If they can win Baizi and the others, then the matter of the new Fishman pirates will be self-defeating. Neptune went straight to the Mermaid Cafe where the 3 princes settled down. Mermaid Cafe. When Baizi and his party were eating delicious food, Kami, the employee of the cafe, could not help but reported the news of Baizi and his party's arrival to the manager of the cafe, Shirley. Store manager's office. A man with short black hair, blue eyes, pale skin, purple nails, wearing a hooded top, is smoking a cigarette with a pipe. Bang! Sound. The door of the store manager's office was pushed open by Julie, and Kami's figure broke in. Before Mrs. Shirley could scold, she heard Kami's hurried voice. Mrs. Shirley, something has happened. Jinbei and Shirazawa, the 14th captain of the red-haired pirates, are here, and Ace, Ryokugyu. The store manager Shirley, who wanted to get angry, heard the report from the employee Kami, his eyes flashed, and soon disappeared, and resumed his usual expression. "I see, you go out." "Yes, Mrs. Chiarli." Employee Kami left the office tremblingly, recalling the rashness just now, and almost lost her life. At the same time, Mrs. Chiarli in the office thought for a while, took out the crystal ball that was very well preserved, and placed it on the desk in front of her. Mrs. Chiarli, in addition to being the manager of this mermaid cafe, is also a fortune teller. She is not simple. Although he could not accurately predict the time and place of the event, her divination predictions were as accurate as 100%. In 2008, he once knew that the era of the Great Pirate was coming, and even on the eve of the great event of the Top War, he also predicted Ash will be rescued, and Whitebeard's old wounds will be restored, and the final outcome is as expected. The era of the Great Pirate is coming, and both Ace and Whitebeard are not dead, even better than before. And this time, it is one of her few prophecies, and the object of this divination is none other than Baizihi and Fishman Island. After a little, Mrs. Chiarli saw the prosperity of Fishman Island, and in the near future, although they encountered many dangers on Fishman Island, they were finally repelled by a man standing on a golden octopus, and that man was none other than others. Is exactly the Baizi that she wants to predict. This is the prosperity of their Fishman clan is coming, that Baizi is the greatest nobleman in the history of their Fishman clan. When Mrs. Chiarli saw her prophecy, her beautiful eyes widened. She never imagined that Baizi would bring such a big change to their Fishman Island. The future prosperity of Fishman Island in the crystal ball is roughly estimated. It is absolutely 10 times, or even 100 times more than what it is today. The office fell into an unprecedented calm. 1 second, half a minute, 1 minute. It lasted for several minutes before Mrs. Chiarli recovered from her stupor and shock. Thinking of the new Fishman pirates today, the alliance of the group and the flying pirates forced the palace, she seemed to realize something, and her eyes flickered involuntarily. The others will solve the difficulties of the new Fishman pirates and the flying pirates this time. If so, then Baizi, Jinbei and the others are coming at the right time. Immediately afterwards, Mrs. Chiarli saw something that shocked her again. This thing was that he saw the people on Fishman Island through the crystal ball, all cheering and shouting the fifth emperor of the new world, they Fishman. The guardian of the island, Shirasawa-sama. This is the new world, the fifth emperor, the guardian of Fishman Island, Mr. Baizawa. Seeing the scene in the crystal ball, Mrs. Chiarli trembled in shock. The impact of this scene on her was too great, and further back, the crystal ball in front of her cracked with a click, and the crystal ball turned into a pile of fragments. Directly used the effect of divination, and the picture of the people of Fishman Island cheering also ended. However, Mrs. Chiarli has beautiful eyes and solemn eyes. She sucked in a breath of cold air, and her heart can no longer be calm. Chapter 55 _ The Shock of Neptune and Others. Mermaid Cafe. Soon, King Neptune and the 3 princes dressed up and came to the Mermaid Cafe where Charlie was. Mrs. Chiarli, who had been informed in advance, received the news that the king was coming, and did not close the store, but sent Kami to the direction of Baizi and others. About a quarter of an hour later, at Kami's respectful invitation, Baizi motioned to let Ryokugyu and the others continue their meal, and left alone with Kami, walking towards a box, but Jinbei followed along the way, because he didn't know what to do with him. Chiarli, an old friend, knows a little bit. I'm afraid it's not as easy as making friends. Squeaky soon, the box door opened, 4 people in the box appeared in front of Baizi, 4 men and 1 woman, and Jinbei saw that there were 3 people except Mrs. Chiarli, Nipton King, 3 princes. Jinbei is not a fool, judging from the situation on Fishman Island in front of him, he has some guesses about the purpose of the 3 of them coming here. Jinbei, long time no see. Neptune and the 3 princes who saw Baizi coming in had already stood up at this moment. After all, they have something to ask for, and their posture is too high to cause misunderstanding. Captain, let me introduce you. Jinbei glanced at Mrs. Chiarli, who was staring at Baizi with deep eyes from time to time, wondering if this guy had already predicted, then looked at Mrs. Shiarly. This is Mrs. Shiarly, the manager of this mermaid cafe. This is Neptune, the king of the Dragon Palace Kingdom on Fishman Island. These three are the three princes, the Shark Prince and the King Star Prince. With Jinbei's introduction, the atmosphere in the box became, after getting to know him a little, Neptune, the sea god, rescued the huge shark Megalo through Baizi, and sincerely invited Baizi to the palace to entertain Baizi and his party. Of course, Neptune's intention is not to drink alcohol, and the most important thing is to solve the palace crisis that may break out at any time. Neptune's thoughts were of course clear to Baizi, but he didn't take it to heart, so he agreed. In the future, he would use Fishman Island as an existence against the four emperors and even the marine headquarters, and naturally he would not allow anyone other than him. Other pirates are making waves here. It can be said that the moment Baizi came to Fishman Island, the fate of the new Fishman pirates and the flying pirates was doomed. As for the time, it is only a matter of time. Hearing Baizi's agreement, Neptune, the sea god, was delighted. Although he didn't have much contact with Baizi, Jinbei was willing to be his subordinate. He was definitely not a bad person. At worst, at least something like Hody Jones of the new Fishman pirates who is struggling today is better. After a little, looking at the back of Baizi's departure, Mrs. Shiarly's expression was complicated, and the box was silent for more than 10 seconds. Finally, Mrs. Shiarly was full of excitement and solemnly said to Neptune, "The sea god, Your Majesty Neptune, this time you have done it. The best decision ever made." "Oh, what about this?" Neptune's eyes narrowed when he heard Mrs. Shiarly's words. Mrs. Shiarly's prestige on Fishman Island was still quite high. Could it be Mrs. Shiarly? You used divination. Shark Star, who knew Mrs. Shiarly's abilities, seemed surprised. Direction of the box door. Mrs. Shiarly nodded silently. "No. It really is." "Then Shiarly, you predicted it." As soon as Mrs. Shiarly said this, not only King Neptune IV, but even Jinbei was full of curiosity and asked in anticipation. Although he joined Baizi's subordinates, and was very convinced, but for Shiarly's high, 100% prediction accuracy rate, it is false to say that he is not convinced. "Hee, Jinbei, you have chosen a strong backer for our Fishman Island. Do you know what I saw in the crystal ball? I still can't believe what I saw is true. This Shiarly, that crystal. What did the ball see?" Neptune's second prince, the King Star, asked with flickering eyes. It was the first time he had seen Mrs. Shiarly's excited look. "Yeah, Mrs. Shiarly, what did you see?" The rollover star on the side was also curiously playing up the spirit of 12 points, and echoed in anticipation. Jinbei and the 5 people of Neptune, the god of the sea, in the box number 5, Mrs. Shiarly did not give up. Her eyes shone brightly, and she said it directly. "You may not believe it when you say it, I see. Baizi has become the 5th emperor of the New World." Words came out. The 5 Jinbei in the box were all shocked, especially Jinbei, who is now the captain of the 3rd division under Baizi. His New World, 5th emperor. My god, this is incredible. 3 princes of Shaoxing were stunned on the spot. The one they saw just now. The young man who was younger than them would become the 5th emperor of the New World in the near future. Doesn't that mean that that guy has and the 4 white emperors Whitebeard, Redhead, Kaido of the Beasts and Charlotte Linlin compete with each other? I'm darling, it's unbelievable. Shiarly, yours is real. 3 princes are like this. As the old man of the Dragon Palace Kingdom on Fishman Island, Neptune is even more excited and shocked. Captain Jinbei, that Baizi will become the 5th emperor of the New World in the future. Neptune's eyes widened, and the young man he had seen in the box appeared over and over again in his mind. Why, is His Majesty the King questioning my prophecy? Mrs. Shiarly frowned when she heard that, although Neptune was king, she would not by face. Cough, of course not. Neptune coughed dryly. Mrs. Shiarly's reputation resounded throughout the entire Fishman Island. Although it was not comparable to his entire king when it came to prestige, it was not far behind. That's good. Mrs. Shirley glanced at Neptune, and then thought of the prophecy again. Her whole body trembled uncontrollably, and, it's more than that. Speaking of this, Mrs. Shirley's eyes flashed again. I also see the future in it, the future of our Fishman Island. The crystal ball shows that in the near future, the degree of prosperity of Fishman Island is absolutely beyond words. I don't know how much prosperity, but at least it is 10 times, 100 times, or even more than today. Listening to Mrs. Shirley's words, Jinbei Nipton and others were all in shock, as if the picture that Mrs. Shirley said had already appeared in their minds, and their eyes became a little blurred. Also, at the end of the broken crystal ball, I saw Baizi standing on top of a huge pure golden octopus, in the sea, fighting fiercely with many New World pirates, marine elites, and what he was guarding behind was the Fishman Island. And the people on Fishman Island are all shouting and worshipping Baizi, and they all call him Lord Baizi. Mrs. Shirley's words made Jinbei tremble. At this moment, he seemed to realize what kind of person he had joined. He couldn't help losing his voice and said solemnly, Shirley, your prophecy, I think it is very likely in the near future. It's true, because the purpose of Captain Shirasawa's visit to Fishman Island this time is to use Fishman Island as our headquarters, and then approach the 4 emperors. Call. This Jinbei, what you said is true. Neptune heard Jinbei's confession, and immediately a heart pounded to the highest point in an instant. The 3 princes of Shark Star, all of them also had bright eyes, and they appeared again and again. In this way, their Fishman Island was saved. Chapter 56 Tenryubito St. Charles Ross appears on Fishman Island. Mermaid Cafe, not far away. Skinny shark fish man with a helmet of an ancient oriental warrior on his head, and a tattoo on his right arm. At this moment, this shark fish man is accompanying a disgusting man with a snot on his face. Go to the staff cafe. Snot on his face is disgusting. The identity of this person is extremely complicated. He is Saint. A very good name, but it is obviously the opposite of his appearance. This is an existence that makes people feel disgusted at first sight, even if the shark fish man Dharma beside him, if it is not because of the captain's order and this person's behavior. Identity, he didn't want to face this guy. Bodhidharma is not an ordinary person either. He is the cadre of the new Fishman pirate group on Fishman Island, and he is a confidant of Hadi Jones. This time, it is Tenryubito who has come to accompany them to establish a relationship under the order of the captain. Earl Rose Street. Mr. Charles Rose, let me tell you, the Mermaid Cafe on our Mermaid Island is second to none, especially the staff inside. All of them can be called beautiful women and absolutely meet the requirements of adults. As a newcomer, the cadre of the fish pirates, and the confidant of Hody Jones, looking at the Mermaid Cafe not far away, a cold gleam appeared on the corners of his mouth. They had invited Shirley to their pirate group more than once before, but they were all rejected by this mother. They all rejected it, and now that St. Charles Rose came to Fishman Island, his dark eyes rolled, and a plan to pull out the cancer for the boss emerged. Since their new Fishman pirates can't get it, then go to hell. Bodhidharma, who had a cold look in his eyes, put on a flattering smile at the runny Charles Rose. Oh, it's interesting, lead the way ahead. St. Charles Ross listened to Bodhidharma's words. As a superior Tenryubito, in his opinion, all the ants and pariahs in the world should be theirs. In about a quarter of an hour, New Fishman pirates brought Tenryubito, the patron of the New Fishman pirates, to the New Fishman Cafe with a clear purpose. Like ordinary customers, the two brought 3 or 5 35 entourages to the Fishman Cafe, ordered some desserts, and soon Charles Rose Street found a girl who suits his appetite. Cafe employee with a pink fish tail and short light green hair on his head. This person was none other than Mrs. Shirley's subordinate and employee Kami. Judging from the fact that the fish tail has not yet turned into legs, this girl named Kami is no more than 0 years old. Whenever Fishman is over 30 years old, the fish tail will turn into legs and live in human form, such as Nip. The same is true for Dun, Jinbei, and Mrs. Xiarli. What a beautiful girl, it would be a pity not to accept her. As soon as Tenryubito came to the cafe, he was attracted by the youthful Kami. Bodhidharma on the side saw St. Charles rose like this, and the corners of his mouth curved into an arc, and he flattered immediately, Sir Charles Rose, wait a moment, I'll catch that girl for you. Dharma, right, I'll remember you when I go back, Lao. Kami, who was helping Ace pour coffee not far away, the corners of his mouth kept drooling, and his snot grew even more. Then it will be abbreviated as Lord Charles Rose, and you will be fine. Hearing the words of St. Charles Rose, Bodhidharma walked excitedly, and winked at the 3 or 535 subordinates beside him. The subordinates understood, and immediately moved towards Kami, but they would not be kind. They certainly knew Bodhidharma, meaning of the boss. Sir, take it easy. Little beauty, come with us, our boss has. Please. 3 or 5 of Bodhidharma's subordinates, one of whom was tall and thin, looked up and down. Kami's figure couldn't help but sigh, that Charles Rose's not so great-looking eyes are good. Questioned by the people who were suddenly surrounded, Kami saw the tattoos on their shoulders, and her pretty face turned pale, apparently recognizing that they were members of the new Fishman pirate group. A sip of coffee, Ace and Sunset also glanced at the tattoos of the new Fishman pirates. Vivi smiled at Kami. This beautiful lady, pour a cup of coffee for our Kuro Star captain, thank you. Well, fine. Kami heard that, of course, she knew that Ace was saving herself, and immediately walked behind Ace and poured coffee with Kuro Star. Seeing this scene, several of Bodhidharma's subordinates turned gloomy and stared at Ace with anger and cannibalistic eyes. Today, their boss is accompanying the Lord Charles Rose. If they can't even handle this trivial matter, they will definitely let him go. The boss is embarrassed, and it will even affect the impression of their new Fishman pirates in the eyes of Tenryubito Charles Ross. Thinking of this, a ferocious gleam flashed in the eyes of several people, and they planned to kill the kid in front of them to kill the chicken and set an example. Boy, are you courting death? Among them, the tall and lanky one with fierce eyes flashed fiercely, waiting fiercely for the big eyeballs to eat people, very cruel. Such a scene really frightened the people around Fishman Island. That's the subordinate of the new fish pirate Hody Jones. Bad, then Hody Jones has been trying to recruit Mrs. Xiarli, and now it seems that he is impatient. Are you going to hit Mrs. Xiarli, those bastards? They took a fancy to Mrs. Xiarli's ability to predict. That young man is afraid of bad luck. The heated discussion of the surrounding people, listening to Ryokugyu and Kuro Star's ears, but the corners of the mouth curled up, looking at the few soldiers of the new Fishman pirates and flashing a taunting color. Are you calling me? Ace's gaze fell on the tall and thin man, still wearing a genial and harmless smile on his face. What do you say about a waste horse? I slap it with a slap. Tall and thin man could finish speaking. A punch appeared precisely in the man's mouth, and in the next instant, with a bang, the soldier turned into a single cannonball. With a bang, it flew upside down, and by chance, it smashed the dining table of Bodhidharma and Charles Rose to pieces. Field, and the entire cafe was in an uproar immediately. Chi-Chi stood up from his seat and stared at Ace in horror. That guy actually beat up the new Fishman pirates. It's over, this kid is completely over. Mad, kid, you are courting death. The few remaining soldiers saw their companions being smashed into the air, and immediately hit Ace. If they wanted to avenge their companions, they must cripple this kid, and must not let Lord Charles Rose underestimate them. New Fishman pirates. Open black lens bracket Marine Rokushiki Renkyaku, Tempest kick close black lens bracket. Ace didn't hesitate at all, since it was destined to be the enemy's shot. He wouldn't be merciful, and immediately kicked the attackers with a Renkyaku Tempest kick he learned from the captain. Poof! Puff puff! After one kick, the empty blade that ripped through the air directly brought several strings of blood flowers to the abdomens of several people. The few people who originally wanted to attack Ace died on the spot and were instantly killed by Ace. Seeing a few people from the new Fishman pirates die on the spot, everyone in the cafe sucked in a sigh of relief. That kid is so cruel, but now he is really going to die. 3 things to read, collect, push. Chapter 57 accidentally killed Tenryubito. Witnessing the murder of his subordinates, Dharma, the leader of the new Fishman pirates, was furious. Presumptuous. Those who dare to touch my new Fishman pirates, you are courting death. Bodhidharma's lungs exploded with anger. Today, with the presence of St. Charles, if they don't find their way back, I am afraid this matter will seriously affect the impression of their new Fishman pirates in the eyes of Tenryubito. But as soon as Bodhidharma's words fell, a savage ox-like punch slammed into him, and in the next instant, it directly smashed through the wall, leaving a human-shaped hole on the wall, and then savagely smashed on the street of Mermaid Cafe. Dare to disturb my good deeds, go to hell. With a runny nose on his face, St. Charles of Rose immediately took out the special pistol in his hand and shot without hesitation. In his opinion, these people were no different from ants. However, what was waiting for St. Charles was Ryokugyu slapped him on the forehead, and abruptly slapped the disgusting Tenryubito into his stomach. St. Charles out of the Mermaid Cafe like a slap on a fly, but at this moment, St. Charles, was already dead and could no longer die. The corpse of St. Charles Rose directly collided not far from Dharma, who had been photographed before. Shaking his head, Dharma, the new Fishman pirate leader who had just come back to his senses, saw St. Charles Rose whose head was slapped into his stomach not far away. His eyes shrank suddenly, and a cold air came from the soles of his feet. The board went straight to the sky. Ryokugyu, who came out of the Mermaid Cafe, with a voice exceeding 120 decibels, his eyes widened and he screamed, You actually killed Lord Tenryubito Charles Rose. As soon as these words came out, all the people of Fishman Island on the street were scared and retreated, looking at the Ryokugyu not far from Bodhidharma. Their eyes were full of horror. Tenryubito. What did they hear? Someone killed Tenryubito on their Fishman Island. It's over. Tenryubito died on their Fishman Island. Marine's wrath will not be blamed on them. You know, that's Tenryubito, a high-ranking being. Is that guy crazy? After screaming sharply, Bodhidharma's heart was filled with fear, thinking that this time he brought Charles Rose to the Mermaid Cafe. If the boss, or Tenryubito, knew about this, there is absolutely no life or death. The intense fear made Bodhidharma's heart become a twisted, soul-stirring cold-like cast on the opposite man who smashed himself into the air. Damn, it's because of him that he will face the death situation. Bastard, kid, die, ah. Knowing that Bodhidharma, who is not the opponent's opponent under normal conditions, clenched his teeth and slammed down a 1-foot evil medicine. In the next instant, Bodhidharma's eyes were red, and the blood around his body was red. Obviously, that kind of fierce medicine is at the cost of life, force out potential abilities. And this scene was all seen by the sea gods Upus and Jinbei on the second floor, especially Jinbei's eyes flickered and his heart was shocked. This is broken. Seeing Ryokugyu kill Tenryubito in public, for that alone, their Fishman Island will live in Tenryubito's nightmare for the rest of the time. This person looks very familiar, as if he's seen it somewhere. Mrs. Charlie looked out of the Mermaid Cafe, frowned slightly, and took a cigarette. Can you not be familiar? This person is named Ryokugyu, and is a deputy captain of our ship. Jinbei heard Mrs. Charlie's words. Bitter Isho was very impressed with the scene of Ryokugyu's appearance in the field. However, there was not much surprise, only Vivi's eyelids twitched. Killing Tenryubito would be troublesome now. You must know that whenever Tenryubito is killed, it is definitely an event that shakes the whole world. At that time, the Marine Headquarters Admiral and the Zero Spy Organization will all come, and a bloody storm will start again centered on Fishman Island. Ryokugyu. Hearing Jinbei's words, Neptune and Mrs. Charlie looked at each other with the same worry in their eyes, clearly realizing the seriousness of this matter. 3 princes of Shark Star also exchanged their eyes, Ryokugyu is this guy. Did Admiral Akainu of Marine Headquarters hit hard in the Battle of the Top? No, Dharma of the New Fish Man Pirates is going to use the medicine. When the star of the three princes saw outside the cafe, Bodhidharma raised his head and swallowed the national treasure, stolen from Ryugu. The next moment, I saw Bodhidharma who had taken the poisonous medicine. Like a beast that had been going mad, he stepped on the ground and attacked Ryokugyu fiercely, like a humanoid titan. Bodhidharma's abnormality also caught Ryokugyu's attention. Ryokugyu, who was so weak and uninterested in Bodhidharma, saw the corner of his mouth curved, and immediately attacked the opposite Bodhidharma in a playful manner. The next moment, the sound of dong 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 hitting the ground one after another, pierced the air from the front of the cafe, and spread to everyone's ears. The corners of the people's mouths twitched and their eyelids twitched. Because they saw that the person who was hanged and tortured to death was not the big man, but Dharma, the leader of the New Fish Man Pirates. Of pure strength, the Bodhidharma who took the potion was completely defeated. On the second floor, Neptune and Mrs. Shiarly in the box were staring at Ryokugyu deeply. The combat power obtained at the cost of squeezing life is definitely not as simple as doubling, but exponentially increasing. However, even under this circumstance, Bodhidharma still only had to be hanged and beaten. The existence of being able to defeat Marine Admiral Akainu head-on is truly extraordinary. Not to mention Dharma, even if the captain of the New Fish Man Pirates, Hottie Jones, uses a murderous drug, there is probably no second ending. Your Majesty Neptune, Baizi and the others killed Tenryubito. I'm afraid it's going to be difficult to do well. How do you choose? Mrs. Shiarly frowned and said, judging from the current situation, if she had not killed Tenryubito, she would have tried her best to win over Baizi and his party, but now that they killed Tenryubito St. Charles Rose, things would be different. Because of this, it is tantamount to poking a big hole in the sky of the New World. At that time, the Endless Marine and Zero spies will all rush towards their Fishman Island like locusts. Mrs. Shiarly's voice fell, and the box fell into silence. After more than 10 seconds, King Neptune, the sea god, turned to Madame Shiarly, squinting his eyes and said solemnly, Shiarly, it is true that Baizi will become the 5th emperor in the future. It's absolutely true. Hearing that, Mrs. Shiarly nodded heavily. I guarantee it with my personality. In that case. Neptune heard Mrs. Shiarly's firm answer, and her eyes shone brightly. Then Mr. Baizi will be the guardian of my Fishman Island from now on. As long as my Ryugu kingdom exists for one day, Mr. Baizi is the most honorable person on my Fishman Island. After listening to the words of Neptune, the god of the sea, Jinbei looked at Bodhidharma, who had been tortured and beaten into a dog. It seemed that Fishman Island was prosperous and their captain Baizi became the 5th emperor of the New World. Chapter 58_Joel Cordo Square, Premeditated Siege. Wait until Baizi returns to the cafe. Battle had already settled, and as soon as I entered the lobby, I heard the heated discussions from the people around the cafe pointing at Ace and his party. Who are these people? They are too cruel. Yeah, especially that big guy, who directly killed Dharma, the leader of the New Fish Man Pirates. Hey, but Tamiao is too relieved, and none of Hottie Jones's men are good birds. But they dared to kill Tenryubito. I'm afraid it's going to break the sky. Grandma, you deserve it. Those Tenryubito who think they are superior, it would be better if they died. Baizi's arrival, Ryokugyu scratched the back of his head and said a little embarrassedly, What, ahem, Captain, I just accidentally killed a Tenryubito. Of hockey from Ryokugyu just now, the Kuro stars twitched their mouths one by one, but they also didn't expect that. The snot hanging Saint Guros would be a world aristocrat of the Holy Land Mariajoy. You must know that each of them has a full influence in the Holy Land Mariajoy, and they are all descendants of the 20 kings who formed the world government 800 years ago. Existence, it can be said that everyone is protected by Marine Headquarters and Zero. Whenever a Tenryubito dies, the holy place Mariajoy will cause a world-class sensation. And it is such a high-ranking Tenryubito, Today Ryokugyu unexpectedly he slapped his head into his stomach with a slap, and his death was extremely tragic. If Tenryubito knew about it, he would probably go crazy. Hearing Ryokugyu's words, Baizi didn't have much reaction. After all, he didn't have much of a cold for Tenryubito. He glanced at Ryokugyu, said, "Oh," and sat down to let Kami pour coffee for him. Ryokugyu was stunned when he looked at the captain, scratched the back of his head and sat down. As for Fujitora Isho, who was covering the surrounding area with observation hockey, his eyes fell to Shirazawa, and he seemed to realize something. The captain didn't seem to be very interested in Tenryubito. This kind of development wants to go. In the future they may really overthrow the Tenryubito system. It seems that the old man will work harder in the future. I believe that there will be a war on Fishman Island in the near future that is even worse than the war on the top. After all, the battle on the top does not involve Tenryubito. To put it bluntly, Marine Admiral and even Marine Fleet Admiral are just watchdogs raised by Tenryubito. As long as Tenryubito gives an order, countless Marines will definitely swarm. Right, with Fishman Island launching an unprecedented siege battle, the scene at that time is not only the Marine side, but Tenryubito will also take action. Captain, the one who was killed by the vice-captain was Tenryubito. You are so calm. The corners of Kuro Star's mouth twitched, although he knew that Baizi was very strong, but the other party was Tenryubito who was talking about the whole world. Killing the existence like that, the ghost knows what kind of sensation will happen in the Holy Land Mariajoy and Marine. It's just a Tenryubito. If you kill it, you will kill it. If they don't agree, come to Fishman Island and find me. Baizi took a sip of coffee and heard the plain words in Kami's ears, and she was struck by lightning. In today's world, apart from the 4 emperors and the legendary leader of the Revolutionary Army, she really couldn't think of anyone who could say such plain words. Out this sentence. Kuro Star. Crack. S sound. Ryokugyu, the initiator, slapped the table and clenched his fists. The captain wouldn't care about this. Wouldn't he just kill Tenryubito? Kill him, he's right. If those Tenryubito come to Fishman Island, come 1 and I will destroy 1. Ryokugyu, come 2 and I will destroy 1 pair. Not surprisingly, some of Baizi's words resonated with Ryokugyu, and the violent factor in his heart was immediately exploded like a powder keg. Here around Fishman Island, of the people was dumbfounded. Darling, are these gangsters crazy? You know, even the 4 emperors wouldn't dare to be so heartless and unscrupulous. On the other hand, New Fishman Pirates, where Hody Jones is located. Click. Hody Jones, who was lying on his seat sipping red wine like a blood glass, heard the report from his subordinates, and immediately the fragile glass in his hand shattered. Jones' entire palm. The soul-stirring eyes stared at the subordinate in front of him, and his eyes flashed coldly. What did you say that Bodhidharma was killed in the Mermaid Cafe? And Charles Street is also dead. 2 pieces of news, like two cannonballs, slammed into the mind of Hody Jones, especially the second piece of news. Tenryubito Charles Rose was actually on Fishman Island, and now he was killed on his own territory. If this matter is not handled well, not only will I not be able to climb up to Tenryubito's relationship, I am afraid that my life will not be guaranteed. Damn, where are those bastards now? Figured out the seriousness of Tenryubito's killing, Hody Jones didn't want to wait for a moment. Kidding. If these people left Fishman Island, it would be harder to find them than to reach the sky, and now he has to find them in the shortest time, and destroy them and chop off their heads to alleviate Tenryubito's wrath. Compared to this incident, the death of Dharma, the leader of the new Fishman pirates under his capable team, seems insignificant. Captain, those people who rescued Princess Shirahoshi's pet Megalo outside Fishman Island, and now Neptune, the god of the sea, are preparing to thank them at Ryugu Castle. The trembling Hody Jones subordinate heard the captain's question, and immediately reported it truthfully. Hearing the report from his subordinates, Hody Jones frowned and his eyes flashed coldly. That old guy from Neptune. Good. Very good. Very good. Since you were rushing to court death, don't blame me. From Haughty Joan's mind, and an order was issued immediately, gather everyone, ambushed in Joan L. Cordo Square on the way to the Dragon Siege, kill everyone in St. Charles and his party at all costs. Yes, Captain. After his subordinates left, Haughty Jones felt that it was still not enough. He took out the phone and made a call. After a while, a hoarse voice came from the opposite side. What's the matter? Lucci Lord Fishman Island Charles Ross Saint and my Kadri Dharma were assassinated by a group of people in the Yoshirin Cafe. These people are at this time. Immediately, Haughty Jones put all the blame on the person who killed St. Charles Rose, first to clean himself up, otherwise, without Tenryubito, this Lord Lucci is afraid that they will be wiped out directly. What? A group of rice buckets, I'll rush over immediately. Before I arrive, I must not let anyone leave Fishman Island, otherwise, you should understand that even if one person leaves, your new Fishman pirates will be destroyed. After speaking, Haughty Jones' phone bug heard a beeping sound, but hearing Lucci's warning, Haughty Jones couldn't help sighing, because as long as they didn't let the murderer escape from Fishman Island, their new Fishman the pirates have a chance to survive this crisis. Thinking of this, Haughty Jones' eyes were bloodshot, and he stared at the direction of Janubito Square with a murderous look on his face, and muttered to himself, I want to see, who dares to kill Tenryubito so recklessly, you are all dead. Exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. Chapter 59 _ Your intelligence work is poor. In about a quarter of an hour. In Changar Square, Baizi and his party walked towards the Dragon Palace on foot, and in front of them was a subordinate sent by Neptune, who respectfully led the way. Because before he came, Neptune, the sea god, warned again and again that he must be careful not to leave even the slightest bad impression on the other party. It was also from His Majesty's tone that this famous man knew that these people were very important to His Majesty. Besides, there was also their hero Jinbei among them. It would be hard for him to be disrespectful. Lord Jinbei, distinguished guests, pass through the Changar Square in front, and in a few minutes, you will arrive at Dragon Palace City. That Neptune's dedicated subordinate explained with a warm smile on his face. However, when Shirazawa and the others' observation hockey unfolded, something strange happened in Joel Cordo Plaza. In fact, without observation hockey, you can see the difference just by looking at it, because at the moment, the huge Changar Square has no shadows, which is completely inconsistent with the lively scenes in the past. Looks like someone can't wait. Thinking of what happened in the Mermaid Cafe, the corner of Baizi's mouth curved into a radian. That's fine, it's a trivial matter to clear the trash in advance. Everyone be careful, there may be an ambush ahead. Who had already developed observation hockey to the point of being skilled, immediately gave a sound, and a group of more than a dozen people walked towards Junkerdo Plaza in a flash. The Empress Boa Hancock separated from Baizi long ago and returned to her kingdom. The purpose is to help the two younger sisters use the recovery potion. Just as Baizi and his party were about to approach the center of Changar Cordo Square, a crisp applause pierced the air from an alley and spread, followed by a joking voice. What a daring, blatant voice. After killing Lord Tenryubito, St. Charles, he still dares to appear in the Changar Cordo Square unscrupulously. I really don't know if it's self-confidence or stupid. A swipe. Figure disappeared in a flash, reappeared and arrived at the Changar Cordo Square, more than 10 meters away from Baizi and his party. Since you dare to show up, in order to show the importance I attach to you, I have specially prepared a big gift for you. Clap. Following the applause of Haughty Jones who appeared in Junkerdo Plaza, the next moment, from all the alleys of Junkerdo Square, locust-like figures emerged. These people, without exception, were all the new Fishman pirates Haughty Jones's men. The entire group of people surrounded the entire Changar Square, and the group of more than 10 people in the field was Baizi and his group. Compared with them, Baizi and his group looked like an ant in front of a mammoth. Many people on the buildings and streets farther away, looking at Joel Cordo Square one by one, their eyes filled with shock and worry. The other side. Dragon Palace City, the highest place. Neptune, the god of the sea and 3 princes, is a peerless beauty with a height of more than 10 feet. This girl has long wavy and flowing pink hair, bright blue eyes, beauty, and a pink fishtail in different shades. And beside her, there is a huge shark, Megalo, did they save you? Princess Shirahoshi's sweet voice came to Megalo's ear, and Megalo hurriedly tapped the huge shark head. Father, do you think Mr. Baizi and the others can win? The great Prince Shark Star looked at the Chang'er Cordo Square, and Baizi and his party, who were surrounded by tens of thousands of people, asked in a vague way, although he knew Baizi and the others. Very strong. The Changokudo Square deeply, and said firmly, Lord Baizi, since he was able to single-handedly over 100,000 marine elites after the war ended, including Sengoku the Buddha and Marine Admiral etc. People, do you think that these people in Junkerdo Square are comparable to those who went to war at the beginning? Shark Star, this. Looks like I'm overthinking it. Even an idiot knows that the scene in front of him is not by many levels compared to the previous war. Hody Jones shouldn't know the identity of Lord Baizi and his party, otherwise he would never be so reckless. Emperor looked at the square, Hody Jones's actions, nodded and said. After all, it's only been a few days since the top war, and no one could have imagined that. The person who made a big noise in the top war and became famous in the first battle would suddenly appear on our Fishman Island. No accident, Hody Jones will be completely finished. Star muttered to himself, the words that Mrs. Shiarly said before came to mind. Just kidding, with the tens of thousands of sailors like Hody Jones, they will be the opponents of the 5th Emperor of the New World in the future. Is that the hero who killed Tenryubito at the Fishman Cafe? I hope they will win. Princess Shirahoshi, one of the 3 ancient weapons, put her hands together and prayed for Baizi and her party. From her father and 3 brothers, Shirahoshi also knew that this Lord Baizi will be their Fishman Island in the future. Protection. Sir will win, come on. Shirahoshi believes in you. Junkerdo Plaza. I really can't think that the first person who dared to kill Tenryubito would be you. You must know that although the 4 emperors disdain Tenryubito, they dare not kill Tenryubito so blatantly. Do you really not know what this means, a bunch of idiots? When Hody Jones spoke, his eyes could not help but fall on a familiar figure, and when Hody Jones saw the figure, the whole person seemed to be struck by lightning. How could Jinbei be possible? Why are you here? Jeju in his hand, Hody Jones, who thought he was in control of everything, widened his eyes incredulously, staring at the arena, and a very bad thought immediately rose in his heart. Could it be that the person headed by the red-haired pirate group, the 14th Cadre, the one who blocked more than 100,000 marine elites in the top war, Baizi? How is it possible? Why did they suddenly appear here? Is it because Jinbei should be damned? How could this happen? Jinbei, seeing his old friend Hody Jones, he raised his foot and took a few steps forward, looking at Hody Jones mockingly and disdainfully. I just found out that it is me. Your intelligence work is too bad, so you still want to occupy Fishman Island, eat people and talk about dreams. I can tell you clearly, behind me is indeed our Captain Shirasawa, and not only Captain Shirasawa, but also our Vice Captain Fujitora Isho, Vice Captain Ryokugyu, and Captain of the 2nd Division of Ace 2. How is it now? Hody Jones, do you think you still have that enough confidence to take us? As soon as Jinbei said this, the expressions of the tens of thousands of Hody Jones's men around them changed greatly, their gazes turned to the group of people in the field, and their calves twisted. Baizi, that guy turned out to be Jinbei's new pirate captain. Oh my god, that guy is rumored to have a top-notch Conqueror haki, and he is extremely skilled in using Mariner Okushiki's ultimate mystery, 6 Kings Spear. The most frustrating thing is that this guy actually has the same shocking fruit ant gata as the strongest man in the world, Whitebeard. How can this fight? It is not a level at all. Look please download Fei Lu's novel. Chapter 60 Destroy the world, kill tens of thousands of cannon fodder in seconds. The name of a person, the shadow of a tree. Whether it is Shirasawa, Fujitora, Ryokugyu, Ace and Jinbei, they are all famous, even Kuro Star. You must know that among them, there are 3 people who are capable of hard steel Marine Admiral. Among them, Ryokugyu brutalized a Kainu in the war on the top, and was killed by Baizi in one fell swoop, and the relationship between these people and the Revolutionary Army is also intriguing. This group of people is absolutely not what they can eat. This is the first thought of Hody Jones. Just kidding, Hody Jones is very ambitious, but it doesn't mean he is a fool. Don't talk about him. Even if Lord Lucci came here, are these people's opponents too? Quietly, Hody Jones discovered that he had tricked Lucci alive. If Lord Lucci came here and saw that the opponent was Baizi and his party, no matter whether he won or lost, he would definitely not end well. 36 strategies, the best strategy. Hody Jones, all his ambitions at this moment were completely disrupted by the appearance of Baizi and his party. In the face of absolute strength, all the conspiracies are so powerless. The flickering eyes of Hody Jones and the surrounding captains winked. Obviously all of them had the intention of retreating. As for their confidence, it was Ruruo locust like tens of thousands of cannon fodder. Can recruit again, but if their little life is gone, it will be completely over. Humph, Jinbei. Don't think that with a few words. The few people you found are your captains Shirasawa and Ryokugyu. Brothers, don't let them be deceived. Here, I, Hody Jones, swear with my life that everyone except Jinbei is fake. Don't be fooled. I really thought that the intelligence work of our new fish man pirates was a vegetarian. I have seen through your tricks. Jinbei, it's up to me. Everyone else killed everyone else for me. In order to fight for a chance, Hody Jones resolutely gave up the tens of thousands of his subordinates who followed him. However, he had to say that Hody Jones had some prestige. As soon as he said this, the terrified eyes of the tens of thousands of subordinates around him once again became condensed, and some of his subordinates are eager to try, obviously wanting to perform well in front of their captain. That's right, although Jinbei is back, it doesn't mean that Baizi and the others also came to Fishman Island. It must be fake. Hey, as expected of the captain, you can count on it, so sinister Jinbei. Kill them. Go on. As Hody Jones and many cadres took the opportunity to cough down the murderous medicine, many subordinates no longer hesitated and rushed forward. You will find a torrent of pirates all around, mobs rushing towards the White Sea in the center, rushing to eat. Poor people, there must be something hateful. This sentence is reflected here. No, Captain Hody Jones and the others will use their subordinates as time to escape. Star of Kuro saw the many cannon fodder swarming around, while the eyes of Hody Jones and his party on the opposite side were flickering. As soon as Kuro Star's voice fell, Baizi, who had long known Hody Jones' intention, directly stuck out his right palm. A thunder suddenly appeared, and then BB scrolled down, open black lens bracket thunder god punishment close black lens bracket. Sound fell, and thunderclouds suddenly gathered in the sky above the Changerkaduo Square with a clear sky. There are tens of thousands of thunderbolts, as if the heavens sanction descends the thunder calamity in an instant. Into thunder and lightning, and instantly fell on the tens of thousands of figures rushed up by Hody Jones, and immediately the sound of Zitsa, electric current rushed through the tens of thousands of pirates. The next moment, more than 10,000 pirates looked at their eyes, all of them fainted, and no one was spared. One blow, more than tens of thousands of people were overturned. Such a devastating attack immediately overturned everyone in the field, and more than 10 people in Hody Jones, who had taken the medicine, were immediately dumbfounded. Even Ryokugyu Fujitora and his party showed surprise and astonishment. Has the captain's Guro no Mi, rumble fruit, developed to such a state? Amazing. Tens of thousands of thunderbolts fell on top of tens of thousands of figures with great precision, one more and one less. Under observation Haki, Ryokugyu Ace and the others were all stunned. The ability to control terror can do this. On Junkerdo Square, a tall building not far away. Mrs. Charlie and Kami were standing on the top floor, looking at the thunder that destroyed the sky over Junkerdo Square, Kami's pretty face was as white as snow. Oh my god, world destruction thunder tribulation. Master Baizi is so powerful, doesn't it mean that Master Baizi's ability is the same shocking fruit as Whitebeard? How can he even summon the power of thunder? Looking at the world-destroying thunder, Kami's big mouth is almost reaching the back of her ears, and her chin are all tending to dislocate. Fact, she was completely terrified by the world-destroying scene in Junkerdo Square. A person's ability is so terrifying that Master Baizi is much stronger than Luffy, and it is not on the same level at all. Compared to Kami's shock, Mrs. Chiarli's eyebrows were filled with deep doubt and shock. Looking at the thunder that covers the sky, Mrs. Chiarli murmured to herself, there is no picture in the crystal ball saying that Lord Baizi has the power of thunder. It seems that her prophecy has not fully demonstrated the ability of the Lord. Top Conqueror Haki, Marinaro Kushiki's ultimate mystery, 6 Kings Spear, the ability to shake the fruit, plus the power of thunder today. No wonder Lord Baizi is the most honorable person on their Fishman Island, and he will be respectfully called Lord Baizi by all the residents of Fishman Island in the near future. Having such a tyrannical ability, sheltering a tiny Fishman Island of theirs is simply too easy. Mrs. Chiarli was full of emotion. She never imagined that their Fishman Island would encounter such a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for prosperity. Moreover, Mrs. Chiarli was also very fortunate that the current sea god Neptune of their Fishman Island was a bright master. At the same time, he is also a powerful king, although this decision has the threat of pressure from the new Fishman pirates. Such a wise ruler and such a strong guardian of Lord Baizi, in the near future, it is not impossible for their Fishman Island to develop into the holy land of Tenryubito, Mariajoy. Castle, the highest sea god Neptune, Princess Shirahoshi and the 3 princes, without exception, were all suddenly appeared in the air, and the operation of turning over the tens of thousands of pirates and destroying them was deeply shocking. This is the real powerhouse. No wonder Mrs. Chiarli said that Master Baizi will become the 5th emperor of the New World in the future. Qualified to become another existence after the red-haired Shanks who competed with the 4 emperors. Their Fishman Island is guarded by Lord Baizi, and the era of eternal prosperity is really coming.